2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the C3 Friday Free-For-All. Once again, I am your host, Cody Lashley, coming to you again in person. And, we've got some of the usual suspects today. But listen, you are the usual suspect yourself. This is your show, man. There's so much Panther news happening all the time. If you want to come in here and ask us questions or give your thoughts and opinions, this is your show to do it. I've posted the link in the description and in the chat room. We've already got a ton of Panther faithful coming in here. But for the first time, I'm going to pass it to Tony Dunn. Join me on the Friday Free-For-All. Tony, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well, man. Just here as a fan tonight.
Hey,
I guess
fun,
I'm here
man.
as a fan every Tuesday night, too, so that's strange. So,
right.
Yeah, let's see what we got to talk about as this preseason game approaches, and we see more. Like we saw Cam Newton play last night for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Also, interesting, fan. I mean, I know that everybody's tired of that, maybe that storyline, but hey, as a fan, you can't help but keep an eye on it.
Yeah, dude, it's especially me, man. Knowing how much I love Cam Newton, I'm going to follow it. But I'm also joined by, listen, man, these next two guys, I mean, they've been my co-hosts for every single Friday Free-For-All, man. Nick Montiero up there in Patriot Country. What's up, bro?
Hey, how's it going, man? Happy it's Friday. Looking forward to this all week. Can't wait to talk some football.
Love it. He's a South Carolina fan, but I still somehow like this dude anyway. It's Kevin Boshoven. Kevin, what's up, bro?
Nothing, man. I just got off work not too long ago. Grabbed me a beer. I like you too, Cody. Even though you're
yeah, I know. It's a weird relationship, but we make it work. We make it work. Zach Altman joining us. Zach, what's up, dude?
Not much, man. Happy it's Friday. Good to talk some football. Got a game tomorrow.
Man.
Good
for
times.
Sure. Happy you could join us. AJ Lindsay, what's up?
What's going on, guys? How you doing tonight?
Dude, I'm pumped. Happy you guys are all joining us. We're gonna have a fantastic show tonight. But listen, let's just jump into it, man. We have finally learned that we are going to see Sam Darnold. And apparently some J.C. Horn and a few other starters. And I'm pumped, man. Listen, this is the moment that many Panther fans have been waiting for, finally seeing the debut of Sam Darnold. I'm just going to go ahead and bounce it around. How long do we expect to see Sam Darnold, and what are you expecting to see from him? Let's go to Zach. Zach, what you thinking, man?
Well, for a selfish reason, I hope he plays a lot because I'm going to that game.
Nice.
I expect him to play like 2 or 3 drives, not too much though.
Okay. Now, is there? Again, this is kind of an open question. Is any number of different answers to it. But is there anything specific you're hoping to see from Sam? Or is it like, it might be not turn the ball over. It might be pocket presence.
Yeah, it'd be great if he could throw a touchdown or two, but
okay.
No turnovers and a touchdown would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be tremendous. I know I'm definitely I'm wanting to see how much. Well, it's the preseason, but if there's any kind of movement from Sam Darnold in the pocket, the pocket presence, that's one of the big things that I'm looking for. Tony Dunn, we'll go to you second, man. What are you thinking about? We're finally going to see it, man. We've been talking about this for how long now, and we're finally going to get to see a little bit of Sam Darnold, man. What you thinking?
I am. This is going to be an unpopular opinion. I don't want to see him. I actually don't want to play any starters for the entire preseason. That's my new position. And the reason being is, like Zach said, so I have a friend that is on Pirate Radio, and I was on there today, and we were talking at Sports Trivia this past Wednesday, and he's like, I'm so ready to see Sam Darnold. I'm so excited. I'm so ready to see. We finally get to learn something or whatever. And he doesn't like my position. And today I told him, I said, your position is selfish because you want to see Sam Darnold. I almost said damn Darnold.
Damn Darnold.
Yeah, you want to see Sam Darnold because you're dying in anticipation to see what we have, right? Like we are looking for any new data of whether or not Sam is a bust or if he's like a potential new story, like the rebirth of Sam Darnold. And for me, like, it doesn't matter because I think we're Sam Darnold or bust this season, period. So, like, if he comes out and he throws a pick and right out of the first series, all people are just going to come out and say is this dude sucks. He hasn't changed. And then if he throws 3 good passes in a row, everybody who is just desperately hoping for Sam Darnold to be good is going to be like, see, it's happening. It's happening. Yeah, and I don't want, just catch me on week 1. I'm still watching. I'll be on the edge of my seat too.
The hot takes will be aplenty, man. And you just said it. Like everyone's going to be racing to make a hot take of how mediocre he looks, how good he looks. Again, man, like we have to have that era of, not overreacting too much, but again, everyone wants to be excited about what they see on the field. Nick, what are you thinking, man? Is there anything in particular you want to see from Sam? Do you more agree with Tony and that you don't want to see him too much, because injuries could happen, or just how are you feeling about this?
So I'm excited to see him. I want to see him play for a quarter. But the problem is I know that if he comes out and he doesn't play at least as well as Teddy Bridgewater played, it's going to be disappointing. And it's going to make for the first game to be like, and I want to see him do good. I think he'll do a lot better than Teddy will. He definitely seems to have some sort of arm compared to Tedisha's arm.
Yeah.
It's just I know that the videos that we've seen of Sam in New York, they weren't great. I want to see him move the football. I want to see him be able to do at least what PJ did last week against the Colts.
That's fair.
But at the same time, I also know we're going against the Ravens, and they have a lot better defense than the Colts do. So
this is true, and that's part of the reason why we scheduled to practice against them. Matt Rule wanted to see that tough-ass defense. And I think that's something that we're definitely going to see. Kevin, are you hoping that we air the ball out, or you want Sam to play conservative, or what are you thinking about this? Did you think we incorporate any deep shots for Sam and the boys?
Well, I was going to say, I'm hoping the first play of the game is a play action deep. I want to see that.
Okay, yeah.
And work. I want to see it. Touchdown too. First play.
That'd be awesome.
Dude, wouldn't that be the perfect thing to get all Panther fans talking?
I don't want to get excited. I just want my anxiety down.
That's
I hear you. No, 100%. I think we all do. Shit. AJ, did you feel any particular way about seeing Sam for the first time? Are you nervous? Are you excited? What you feeling, man?
I'm excited. Sam, I just want to see him go run, 1 or 2 series, show that he's efficient, that he's not seeing ghosts in the pocket anymore, and just get the ball to the open receiver. You don't have to go and win it by yourself. Just stay within the offense, get the ball to your receivers, and let them do their job.
Yeah, I mean, just play in rhythm. Just let the play unfold in front of you. Don't do too much. Don't do too little, too. I also want to see some offensive line presence. I want to see him, alerting, checking the mic, changing the play if need be. And just, I want to see Sam be in control of this offense. We're also being joined right now by Panther Rule. Panther Rule, what's up, bro?
Hey, guys.
Hey, man, happy you could join us. Jump right into this. What are you thinking about getting our first glimpse of Sam Darnold tomorrow?
Well, I can't wait. I've kind of got myself comfortable with the fact of either way, they're going to be people that's going to hate on it. Unless Sam comes out and lights everybody's up and the first quarter throws for 300 and some yards and 20 touchdowns, somebody's going to find something he did wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I like to see how the left tackle lines up, situation in particular. I want to see who lines up at the offensive line.
True.
I know that the other day, I think it was Thursday, they had Motrin at left tackle a lot because they gave Cam Irving kind of time off or whatever they did. So I'm just really curious how all that plays out. I just don't – I guess maybe they – unless somebody pops up, I don't see – I have trouble seeing the coaching staff, and maybe I'm naive on this, letting Cam Irving just not play at all until week one, just so he doesn't get hurt, when he's always going to get hurt anyway. So,
yeah, and listen, that's the perfect segue to one of the main things that I was looking forward about talking to tonight. And by the way, anyone who has their TV up in the background, either mute your microphone while you're on or turn the volume a little bit lower. But so basically, this is one of the main things I'm wanting to talk about. I'm going to share with you a little bit of this blip from Joe Person at The Atlantic. The most talked about camp topic is Taylor Moton at left tackle. Yes, Moton got plenty of reps on the left side, but the Panthers' thinking remains the same as 3 weeks ago. Their best offensive line configuration has Moton at right tackle and Cam Irving at left. That could change, but the Panthers so far like what they're seeing from Irving. Matt Rule would go on to say, actually, Cam's done really well on the left side. I think the zone scheme really helps him out. He doesn't have to move a lot of guys, General Manager Scott Fitterer said. Oh, that was Fitterer. He says he's got the length and the foot quickness. He's gone against some really good guys against the Colts and the Ravens, and he's held his own and done a great job out there. Now, far be it from me to call our GM or our coaches liars. I mean, who am I to tell them what they're seeing, right? But I know there have been multiple people who have been at training camp, who have watched some of the one-on-ones, and Cam Irving hasn't really impressed anyone. On top of that, he's on the sideline most of the time. So, I mean, this continues to kind of bolster the opinion that I have that Taylor Moton is eventually going to be starting at left tackle. So I'm going to bounce this question around to everyone, and I'll start with Tony Dunn, because Tony Dunn has been saying for the longest that Cam Irving will indeed be our left tackle. So, Tony, do you have any faith in Cam Irving to actually maintain that left side like our coaches and GM thinks that he will?
I just, to be honest, I only know what people have told me about him. I probably, if I really wanted to answer your question with an informed opinion, I would have gone back and tried to watch every Dallas Cowboys game for the last 2 or 3 years, no matter how sickening that kind of just sounds in its own right. But from what I've heard about Cam is that, he was a rotation, he's a bounce around guy in Dallas, right? So, yeah, I think it might be hard to evaluate his position or his play entirely when week in and week out they're asking him to kind of play a different spot. You know, one week you're on the right, the next week you're on guard, playing guard, depending on who's hurt or whatever. And he played behind some really good people in Dallas, right? They've known for have been having a strong line. And I've had Dallas fans tell me that Cam Irving isn't awful. He just looks terrible playing. Right. So like he'll like fall down, but somehow slow the guy down. You know what I'm saying? It's ugly. So I don't really know if I have faith or don't have faith. I would say I do not have faith in any player who plays left tackle for the Carolina Panthers until otherwise somebody shows me something else, because for the last 9 years, all I've been doing is talking about this. You know, this is not a new conversation for us. Every damn preseason, we have a Cam Irving, it feels like. Except for 1 year, maybe we had Jordan Gross. But I mean, if it's Byron Bell 1 year, it's Michael Orr the next. Michael Orr is the best of all of them, right?
We could have fixed it in the draft.
Yeah, and we never did
hate
it.
To say it, but we could have.
Oh yeah.
You know, we also said that like 7 times over the last 7 years, and so many times those dudes have been bust too. How many people have we all like? And then if we would have drafted them, it would have been a nightmare. So to me, I'm just accustomed to this feeling. I'm going to answer your question with a follow-up question. Is that what is the benefit of not making the veteran guy who's had reps the starter at this point? Like, what is the benefit of not making, or you know what I'm saying? If Cam Irvin, we have play tape, they kind of believe in what, you know, just his experience and some of his ability, why would you not play him? And I think the only answer for me that I would like interested, I guess, is like you could argue that you should play Moten on the left, but then should you also then put Cam on the right?
Yeah, and so to me, this is This is the first time where I can really say that I'm departing with our coaches here, because I believe that they're delaying the inevitable. Everybody knows where I stand. I'm on this Taylor Moten left tackle train, and I feel like our coaches are too, but they have this guy that they brought in free agency. They brought him in for a reason with the intention of playing left tackle, and I feel like maybe there's some pride and some ego kind of in play here when it comes to this decision. But Friday, Taylor Moten did take a ton of snaps at left tackle. It's so hard to see, and I only have 2 clips. But that's him against Titus Howard, doing a good job locking out and moving him around. That's the only pass protection play that I can grab. Then another one that I found, which was some good run blocking on a quick screen pass going to Terrace Marshall. We also have Taylor Moten here at left tackle, using his arm length and athleticism and just getting out and being aggressive, man. And all the reports are is that Taylor Moten continues to learn the position. He continues to progress. Man, I'm thinking that this is inevitable. And I don't have a lot of faith in Cam Irving, mainly for the injury concerns, first and foremost. But if he can play left tackle, I'm happy. I just don't buy it. I'm going to pass it to someone else. Nick, what are you thinking, man?
So, I mean, if Moten looks great at left tackle, I'm okay with the move, but he would have to look pretty good, like one of the top left tackles in the league, sort of good. And I know that would take a little bit of time to get there because he's still getting used to the position. But I mean, the left side is the most important side. And if the dude can play left tackle just as good as he can play right tackle or even close, that's one thing. But the videos that we've seen other than those 2 today, they haven't given us a hugely great feeling about it. You know, and on top of that, we already know the guy is great at being a right tackle. So it's, if you're taking him and putting him at the left tackle and he's not playing as good, who are you going to put at the right tackle that's going to play even close to as good?
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be one of those scenarios where we're going to have to shift around tight ends for extra blocking, just so that way Darnold doesn't get killed.
I mean, maybe that's so. I feel like going forward, especially in these preseason games, you already know my eyes are going to continue to be on Brady Christensen, because I'm hoping that Brady Christensen is going to be able to step up and fill that spot. But one of the reasons why I'm not as gung-ho on the Christensen to right tackle thing just yet is because I think Trent Scott could be a legitimate contender to fill in that right side if Taylor Moton did move to the left. And another important thing to mention before we go forward here is that is the Panthers' backup plan. I mean, this is documented now. Taylor Moton is our backup left tackle in case anything happens to Cam Irving. And, knowing Cam Irving's injury history, that's why I said it kind of feels like on the low, the Panthers are just preparing for this inevitable, left tackle switch to happen. Shout out to 89 J Stubbs. Keep pounding. Hopefully some ones get some work. Yeah, we'll see some ones. Zach, do you feel strongly about this left tackle position? Do you trust that our coaches are telling the truth when they say that they think Cam Irving will be able to hold down this spot?
I hope he can, but evidence shows that he hasn't been able to so far in his career.
Right.
I think they're going to move Moton over to the left at some point in this season and play Christensen at the right tackle. It seems like it's going to happen. I didn't think that at first, but you converted me.
Hey man, I'll wear on you eventually, dude. I do it to everyone.
I've been watching for a while, and you got all the infectious ideas.
Yeah, man. I foresee it being an inevitability, but I can certainly be wrong.
I want to bring up something else about Cam real quick.
Yeah, man.
All the discuss. Actually, I just was Googling him a little bit, and I had forgot he only played 1 year with the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, he played a year, or he played a year, 2 years with the Chiefs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he was drafted by the Browns, and the Browns being a notoriously awful organization at that time. The most criticism of him seems to have come actually in his time of Kansas City, where he was asked to play left tackle for like a significant amount of time in one season because of an injury. But he also played left tackle, left guard, and right tackle that season. And then similarly, he was let go because I guess his contract was up. Dallas picked him up and on a 1-year deal. And then the same situation arises as a backup kind of swing, a player that's just versatile, that can play up and down a little bit. Now, here's one thing that stood out to me, though, in reading this Kansas City blog. It says this: while most of the Chiefs' kingdom was critical of Irving's play on the field, there's no denying that he was an A-plus teammate. Irving was the ultimate team player, willing to do whatever the team asked of him. He was always one of the first players to hurry to the aid of Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes if they were hit late with any sort of extracurriculars on the field. He was also always there to celebrate the success of his teammates. So I could see how this veteran free agent, if those are some of the personal characteristics of him as kind of team rah-rah, that ruling them are not quick to just say, take a seat, buddy.
Yeah.
No, we saw that last season too, with Teddy Bridgewater and Tahir Whitehead.
Tired Whitehead. God, yeah, you're right. But here is that if you do start moving pieces around, it does sound like at least Irving isn't going to be a handicap. If you say, you know what, we're going to need you to play guard.
Hey, you know whose opinion I really want to get on this? He's the C3 Panther legend. Nova Black himself.
Oh,
damn. Nova Black. What's up, baby?
C3?
What's up, Nova?
My man.
What's going on?
Chilling, man. Hey, how you living, bro?
Man, I'm living good, man. Down here, I made it. I finally got myself out of Georgia, man, and got myself back into the Carolinas.
Hey,
Nice.
that's what's up.
Nice.
Welcome home, baby. Welcome home, man. Hey, but look, man, I want to get you right in on this conversation, Nova. We're talking about that left tackle position. And if you listen, I know you hear me blabber on all the time. My opinion is well known. I think Taylor Moton's moving to the left side. I think it's inevitable. The coaches are telling us that they believe in Cam Irving at left tackle, and knowing his history, knowing that we haven't really heard much from him during this training camp, I'm not buying it, Nova. What say you, man?
All right, so let me give y'all my little 2 cents on this.
All right.
So from the way I look at it, right, I try to look at it as an overall perspective because I try to look at the whole team building process from a GM perspective.
Yeah.
So I got Taylor Moulton here, this prize right tackle that I just signed for, for a sweet deal compared to what was just recently signed before him. So now I'm looking at Cam Irving. Yeah, okay, he was serviceable in Dallas, and it's not a lot of tape on it, but it's a lot of highlights and stuff. You can catch glimpses of him here and there. But they you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
My man Tony said they moved him around a lot, so it's kind of hard to really get good at one spot in the NFL if they're shuffling you around. So he's serviceable there. With his injury history and stuff like that, I feel like that's why they seeing what Moulton can do because if you remember back under the Rivera regime, Moulton looked pretty good, showed some flashes at the little time he did over there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Coming in college, Moulton was a backup. He was the primary right tackle, and he would play backup left tackle here and there. So he is not like he's foreign to it. He's even did press conferences where he mentioned when he talked about, how natural it felt for him. So I'm thinking, Fitters looking back and Rulers looking back, and they thinking about all of this, and they say, let's see what this kid can do. So let's look down mid-season, the end of the season, the beginning of next season. He still got all these years on that contract. We're going to start him off in training camp at left tackle and let Cam Irving go and save some money.
Yeah, you brought up a good point with the money too, man. Like, I don't know how much we're ultimately on the books for this year for Cam Irving, but wouldn't it be a dream come true if our franchise left tackle was on the roster the whole time? I mean, like, that's the dream right there. And especially if we end up drafting a guy in this year's draft that's able to come in and fill in at that right tackle spot and do a good job. Like, man, that's a dream come true scenario as far as I'm concerned for the Panthers. I'll let anyone jump in on this who wants to get in.
We're used to seeing our left tackle out, so I mean, it makes sense that we take Moulton, put him at get him with the ones. Because at some point, I feel he's going to come in just because of injury alone.
Yeah.
I can think he can do it. I really do think he'll be a Pro Bowler someday at doing it, if he's given a chance to do it long term.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to not believe in Taylor Moulton. I understand the mindset of people who say that, man, this guy is a tremendous right tackle. Don't ruin a good thing and put him in a position where he doesn't belong. I understand that. But I've also seen a bunch of other players do it before. So why is it that other players can do it, but Taylor Moulton can't? Like, do people not believe
done it, though?
man?
Who's really done it, though? Have we seen a bunch of players do it?
Well, you saw Jordan Gross do it.
Yep, that's right, 100% Jordan Gross did.
If he sucks, just put him back on the right. I mean, it's not that
right. Yeah,
hard.
I mean, but the Jordan Gross. Somebody pointed out to me is Jordan Gross played left tackle in college, and he played 1 year at right tackle in the pros, and then so he, is there anybody else? And it's not even like more of a challenge. I just don't even know. I guess maybe I'm still Byron Bell shell shocked. Right, we said the same thing. Byron Bell is not awful at right tackle, not like awful. And then Dave Gettleman came out and told us he was left-handed, so he's going to be put better on the left side, and he was awful.
That was a joke.
It was. It was.
That still brings up terrible memories for many of Panthers fans, that name Byron Bell. I wonder what name brings up more tackle PTSD, Byron Bell or Matt Khalil. Oh, yeah.
Remmers is the one.
Yeah, Remmers.
Remmers.
You weren't even going to say it, and I knew it. Mike Remmers.
Yeah.
Don't forget Nate Chandler.
For me, it's Matt Khalil because we paid him $50 million to play.
That was the name I was going to say.
He didn't anger me. He just disappointed me.
Yeah.
Matt Khalil angers me for the money part, but I will always hate Mike Remmers because he cost us a Super Bowl.
Mike Remmers for me, man.
Yeah. What a bad night, dude. Dude, how about Mike Remmers was a tackle that tanked the chances of not one but two Super Bowl teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Panthers
Yeah.
and the Chiefs, dude. Wow.
How did he stay in the league that long though? And
That's a
not
good
only
point.
Because he was
the
moved
first-round
to
draft pick.
Rimmers.
Nah, I don't think Rimmers was a first
Oh,
round.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
he was a
My
he was
bad.
a he
The
was
guy from
undrafted.
Minnesota was my bad. The guy from Minnesota.
So he just sucks at tackle, and
his job.
but he is okay as kind of a rotational player. So he went and signed that big deal with Minnesota. He just absolutely was a turd there, just like he was with us. You know, with us, I always said this about Mike Rimmers is he played well for the first 12 games and then he hit a wall.
Yep.
And like after week 12, he just was like spent. And that's how I felt that 2015 team was, you know, is that like by the time we got to he was on skates, you know, and he ruined it and he played our right tackle position. But for Kansas City, the only reason he was playing in that Super Bowl is because their line got ate up by injuries.
Yeah.
Hey, another thing I wanted to mention, and I remember being very high on this guy when he came through the draft. Another name that's been making the rounds, and Panther Rule mentioned it first, so I'll let you be the one to jump in first on this. Andre Dillard, the left tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles, is rumored to be on the trade block.
Yeah.
He's had some injuries, and he was also behind a Pro Bowl left tackle. I don't know if these rumors are true or not. Is this someone that you would be interested in bringing in? And then I'll throw this question to everyone. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, if depending on the price they want for him and his injury issues, he actually has surgery last year.
What kind of surgery did he have?
I think it was knee surgery or something. That's what I said. It'd have to depend on his medical. I would be interested. I liked him in college, though. That's the truth. I kept thinking the Panthers ought to trade up to get Andre Dillard, and if I can remember correctly, folks at the time said that Little was good in run blocking but not pass blocking, and Andre Dillard was the complete opposite. He was good at pass blocking but not run blocking. So I figure, well, Little failed. We'll see what he can do. But like I said, it depends on what they want and what we can give for him and his injury issues.
Yeah, he was at the Washington State. No. It was what team did he play for? I think it was
that's
Washington.
right. Washington State.
It was Washington State.
I just looked it up. It looked like he had bicep surgery, actually.
Yeah.
But I did hear the 4-man rush people saying lower leg problems or something like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember being very high on him once upon a time. I mean, listen, we've been needing to fix this left tackle position for so long. For the past few drafts in a row, I've been wanting us to, explore taking a left tackle. We passed on Andre Dillard in favor of Brian Burns, which that worked out. I would say we expect big things from Spider-Man. But, I did really like this film. Up there in Washington, they asked him to do a whole lot of pass protection. They rarely ever ran the football. Those were those air raid offenses up there in the Pac-12. So, I mean, how much would you be willing to trade for Andre Dillard at this point? And is our left tackle position bad enough that you would be willing to do it? We'll go to Nick. What you saying, Nick?
I'm not against it, depending on what the price is. I mean, I've never seen the guy play, but with how shallow we're looking on the line as far as guys that we can rely on, one more body isn't going to hurt.
Yeah.
Plus, from what I've been told, they're short. So they're short on offensive linemen, specifically tackles in the league, as well as defensive ends. We have a plethora of defensive ends that we could get rid of if we needed to. Not necessarily an exorbitant amount, but a fair amount. Marquise Haynes, I'd like to keep him on the roster, but with how he played this past weekend, he's got some draft capital. So.
Yep.
What's up?
Yeah, he is injured right now.
Yeah, he was dealing with
Dillard's hurt right now?
No,
Marquise Haynes is. For 1 to 2 weeks, he's out.
Yeah.
All right.
If you sign the preseason,
if you traded for Dillard, though, he's in his third year.
Yeah.
Right? And he was a first-round draft pick. So say he turned you gave him, he got some opportunity this year. You kept him on his deal next year. You could exercise a 5th-year option on him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're trading for a guy who's in the very last year of his contract where all the trade value needs to come right now.
True.
And
we're not
sorry.
really stacked, locked and loaded on the offensive line. So despite people having hesitancies about this player, having that body on our team doesn't seem like necessarily like a hindrance. So if you could get, I wouldn't even be mad if they did like a 4th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
I'd be
He
cool with
suffered a knee sprain last week. That's what it was. He was out last year for his bicep, but last week he had a knee sprain, and it was just precautionary. Don't play him.
How many sacks has he given up, through his career or through his season?
Well, so he hasn't really even played that much.
No.
He was behind their left tackle. I forget who their left tackle is.
It was Jason Peters.
Well, Jason
Peters. I knew it was a Peters.
Yeah.
And he didn't really get a ton of playing time. And then the times that he did, he's been injured. He had the bicep injury. Now he's dealing with the knee sprain. Also, keep in mind that knowing that Scott Fitterer is the type of guy that we think is going to want more picks than higher premium picks, so he's going to want to trade back. We're probably going to end up recouping whatever we would end up trading for Andre Dillard anyway. So I'm not coming.
If they trade the 7th rounder we just got.
That's what I was
true.
thinking.
Yeah, that's a good move right there.
I mean, I'd be willing to trade a 5th-round pick and maybe Christian Miller.
No way, not Christian. That's too much untapped potential right there.
What has Christian done? What has Christian Miller done?
I don't think Miller plays at all for the Panthers, man.
Yeah,
I think that he could just be on the bench all year or the practice squad or
trade someone like Greg Little to them.
Well, and also we're hearing a ton of reports that Frankie Louvu is another edge rusher in training camp that's been balling out doing his thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Miller could be expendable.
Yeah, 100%. And he has to prove himself. We've talked about what happens if you take off for a COVID year or whatever, if the team frowns upon you or not, I don't know. But, especially if another guy is able to come in here and really put together some good plays, Miller might be fighting for a job, man.
Remember, Miller is a Hurney pick.
True.
So this regime has no allegiance to him whatsoever.
And he opted out last year too, so you don't have any reason to any tape that says, man, he could really blow up.
Yeah.
Right.
Are we kind of short on corner though? Because Pride's out for the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Troy Pride is out for the year.
Bouyer's out for the first couple weeks.
I'm not certain Pride would made the roster anyway.
I mean, he's a body though.
Yeah.
This
just means Keith Taylor's definitely making the roster.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And they got to make some more cuts Tuesday of next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ought to be is that the final?
What is it?
That's not the final.
No, there's
no.
one more after that.
Yeah.
I think they cut down to 80, I think. Next
Something
time.
like that, yeah.
Didn't they raise it? They took the amount you can have?
What, on the final roster?
They did like they did last year. Same rules apply.
I think the practice squad is bigger. I think the normal squad is the same, like 53.
Yeah, they did expand the practice squad.
Yeah.
No, but you're right, though. I don't know if Troy Pride would have made the roster. I think Stanley Thomas Oliver is a name that continues to impress in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Robinson, but he's more of a safety player. Yeah, but Robinson is another player that has continued to impress, continues to make plays.
Kenny Robinson reminds me of Josh Norman. He just finds a way to get the ball.
Touche.
Yeah.
All right, that's the first time I've heard that comparison. I like that though. I definitely want to see more of him.
And he does have that attitude too.
Yeah, that's another thing I've heard. He's got that aggressive dude. I feel like our defensive backfield this year has so much more attitude.
Oh, for
than
sure.
it has in such a long time.
Yeah. I mean, because Jackson and Horn are both mouthy corners.
Miles
Yeah, right.
Hartfield
recently.
Miles Hartfield missed the game last week due to an injury, but he should be. They said that he's been playing nickel. Like he played nickel some last year, but he's been playing nickel, so he could add a lot to that corner depth. He's listed as a safety, but he plays nickel. So
right now he's our third. Right now he's our third string strong safety.
Yeah.
We're being joined by Cole Allen. Cole, what's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing, Cody?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Happy you can join us again, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's navigate this conversation towards this preseason. I was about to say playoff game. What the hell am I smoking?
If only.
This preseason,
You're
preseason football game.
Talking playoffs?
Yeah, right. Let's jump into this a little bit. Let's kind of preview this matchup. We don't really know. Do we know how many starters are playing for the Ravens? I don't.
Is Lamar playing?
A lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know if too many starters are playing. So that kind of, I'm interested to see what kind of talent we end up playing in that first quarter and how long they play for. But this defense, specifically the interior of our defensive line, I want to see them really turn it on. I'm talking about Bravion Roy. I'm even wanting to see some Gross Matos on the inside, kicking him into that 5 technique, running that NASCAR package. That's something that they did a lot last year. What was the guy from the UK? F.A. Obata. They did that. Yeah, they did that with F.A. Obata last year.
Yep.
I'm really wanting to see some more aggression from our defensive line. I'll just let whoever wants to jump in here. What's the one thing that you're really looking forward to in this matchup?
Pick 6 by Nixon.
I like that. We've got 6 defensive tackles that I would say are projected to make the roster. Normally, not 6. I'm sorry, 5. Normally, we only keep 4. Do they keep Nixon in the thought process that he could play maybe end if he had to? Because you're going to look at either.
He caught that ball.
Yeah, I mean, because you're going to do Phil Hoskins, Bravion Roy, or Nixon. One of them, I feel, has a chance not to make the roster.
Based on his film, I feel like the dude is a damn good 3-tech. I mean, someone that you can put in there in that pass rushing defensive tackle position and just let them go and feast, especially putting him next to Derek Brown. That guy truly has nightmare potential. He might be a real steal for us. In what was it, the 5th round, I think, that we picked him up?
Yeah, I think
so.
Yeah,
crazy
5th
good,
round.
Crazy good pick.
At the training camp, they kept on knocking down balls at the line, man. All the time, batting the balls.
Grim Reaper, shout out for the $20, brother. Thank you so much. Certainly appreciate that love bomb. Shout out to Grim Reaper. Let's get someone else in on this. Cole, man, what are you looking forward to? We didn't get your opinion on Sam Darnold. We will see Sam Darnold for the first time tomorrow playing in some live action. What are you hoping to see from Sam?
I'm hoping because he's not going to be playing long, so I'm hoping he can at least get a good drive in, maybe a touchdown. I'm hoping just to see more of the starters playing and stuff, rather than the backups in the last game.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you guys think Christian McCaffrey will play?
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
Nope.
I think you do one drive.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe.
I don't think
you'll see Christian into the Jets.
I don't think Christian, DJ, or Brian, or even Derek Brown will play.
I don't think
or Robbie Anderson
at all.
Or Robbie.
Yeah, based on his year last year and the injuries that he had. Did he really?
DJ did, yeah. He hurt his back yesterday. But I know Robbie did at least a couple times over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, Robbie
tweaked his hamstring.
Yeah, Robbie and DJ both missed practice.
Yeah, so in my mind, really let some of the other guys get some more work. I'm talking about Shi Smith. Give him some more time.
Terrace Marshall.
Yeah, definitely more Terrace Marshall. I mean, we have guys that are on the team that are serviceable enough to be some good, easy receptions for Sam to throw the ball to. No need to put in Christian, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. Nah, another time, another day. I might not even put him in against Pittsburgh either.
I think Chuba Hubbard starts this game, and he needs to show that he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Good point, too, man.
I'll hit another name up, y'all.
Yeah.
We don't talk about him a lot. Sam Tecklenburg played the entire game last week at center.
Yeah.
We've kind of overlooked him. Well. And I'm curious to see how he performs. He may be a hidden center that starting center someday that we're not paying attention to.
Yeah,
that would be a good story for him because they cut him last year.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, when he initially was going to retire instead of coming to the NFL, but Matt Rule talked him out of it.
Oh wow!
If I remember that correctly.
And then also correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't we under the last year of Matt Paradis' contract?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So listen, center is going to be another position that we might end up having to replace sometime soon. And yeah, that's a great point that you mentioned. Tecklenburg did look really good out there. I might even have some film of our boy.
Pat Efline can play center. We've used him before at center in practice. So
they must really believe in him, and to a certain degree, as like the backup that they're going to roll with this year, because it's not like they're trying some other people in that spot too throughout the game. They're like, we want to give you all the reps and keep your development up.
And I have a clip right here of I believe this is Tecklenburg playing center. This is some all 22 here. Shout out Tim Jenkins for putting this clip out on YouTube. Really good stuff for our entire offensive line here. The center and the guards are working in tandem with one another. Brady Christian has excellent feet on that play.
That looks really nice.
Yeah, that whole play by the offensive line looked really impressive. Another thing I wanted to mention was this. Obviously Sam Darnold is the name that we're the most excited for, but J.C. Horn is going to see some action tomorrow too. Now, his rival in the draft, Patrick Surtain, already had a interception in his first preseason game.
And a touchdown.
A pick six.
Yeah, a pick six. So the bar has been set pretty high, but what are we expecting to see from JC, man? I know we're all hoping that he stunts, but
2 pick sixes.
Yeah, right.
I wish.
If only. If only.
I wish. Something tells me after the
that
first
would be
one,
cool,
that's when they're gonna. Something tells me if he gets one pick six, that's when they're probably gonna pull him out of the game just to kind of save him for the Jets. But I don't think he's. I'd like to see him get a pick six. I don't think he will. I just want to see him basically be all over any receiver that he's covering.
Yeah, if he can shadow a receiver, that'd be nice.
Yep.
Who was the Ravens' number one receiver this year?
Is it Hollywood Brown? Or Sammy Watkins, maybe?
Yeah, so Sammy Watkins is on their team. Hollywood Brown. Dude, I wanted Sammy Watkins.
Clemson versus South Carolina.
Yeah, man. Dude, I wanted Sammy to be
we already know he's going to win that battle.
So, yeah, Clemson. Duh, no shit.
Don't say that.
Right. I'm actually kind of, someone mentioned Chuba Hubbard catching passes, and I think that's going to be a really big deal for him. If he can continue to advance in that area of his game, I would, easily see a scenario where we're choosing Chuba Hubbard over Bonifant, who he's kind of in a war with in that number 2 running back spot. I don't know. I haven't seen an injury report. I expected him to play tomorrow.
Who's the other running back? I can't remember.
So we have
Rodney Smith.
He was in training camp when I went.
The Ravens' number one wide receiver is Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
That's a bad sign.
So Watkins versus Horn.
Oh, what about they got the rookie, Bateman?
He hurt, though,
Or
right?
he's hurt. He's hurt right now. Yeah.
So our running back is, depth is Reggie Bonnafon, Chuba Hubbard, and Rodney Smith.
Rodney Smith looked good
I thought he looked all right last year.
in training camp.
I mean, that backup spot in my mind, that's Chuba's spot for the taking.
It should be. It should be, but Rodney Smith has been doing pretty good in training camp from everything that I've been hearing.
Yeah. I heard something about he was injured the other day, but that may just been something. I'm not certain about that.
That was last Thursday, I think it was. Last Thursday or last Friday.
Okay.
He was.
Okay.
He got carted off. I haven't heard anything since. So.
But you see Chuba running that ball, like, what was that, 40-yard run?
I think it was 60, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it 60?
Yeah, I think it was 60. That was
when
a nice play, though.
when you look at the numbers, though, that was the majority of his day.
His day.
Those running yards, that one play, accounted for most of his day. So,
But if he's the best, that's probably all he's going to get is that one play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see some more consistency from him too. Catching passes, but picking up yards, man. Another player who I think has the potential to be our future starting right guard is Deontay Brown, number 77. And that
Blastoid.
guy is a people mover, man. Yeah, dude, Blastoise, bro.
Just about.
Super powerful, dominant with his hands, dominant in the run game. Apparently, that's gotten better in his pass protection. We might have really found some gems in the trenches this year, man.
Hope so.
I mean, Deontay Brown, Davion Nixon. I mean, we have some guys on this team right now.
Even Phil Hoskins, he played pretty good last week against the Colts.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, how can we forget Phil? Big snack.
Big snack.
Yeah, big snack as they call him.
So Panther Rule brought up a good question earlier. So if we're only going to keep five defensive tackles, if you have the choice between Bravion Roy, Phil Hoskins, and Davion Nixon, who doesn't make it?
Ooh.
Keep Nixon.
Yeah.
They'd probably put Hoskins on the practice squad if I had to guess.
I wouldn't put Hoskins on the practice squad, honestly. I'd get rid of Bravion Roy. He has a better chance of making it through waivers.
I don't know. He's a Matt Rule guy, though.
Yeah, and he
but
played a lot
didn't Bravion do good for us last year also?
He was solid, I thought.
Yeah, I thought he had a good rookie year for like a 6th-round pick. Is Haskins really good, or have we just seen one preseason game and we like his nickname a lot?
Good point.
that could be.
that could be it. It would be interesting to see how he plays out the rest of the preseason.
True.
Yeah.
But if he plays
you gotta have an affinity for a guy named Big Snack. That's just something like that just sounds right about the position.
But Tony Dunn, I mean, honestly, if he plays the rest of the preseason the way he played that first game, it's going to be a hard press not to keep him on the 53-man roster.
That's true.
Yeah, dude, it sounds like him and Frankie Louvu have played themselves into that spot, man. Those are two games that I continue to hear, man.
I'm sorry. If you got to be careful, because like we're talking about, Nixon ain't going nowhere, but there will be other teams, especially maybe the Ravens, could spot him as an end if he slips if they think they're going to hide him, so he won't go nowhere. Because the Ravens or any other team could scoop him up real quick if he goes out and shows out in training camp or preseason tomorrow.
True.
These preseason games are really important for us right now, man.
Yeah,
and I genuinely feel like we have a couple of guys that we're looking at that are contenders to fight for a starting job. I'm talking about guys like Brady Christensen, Davion Nixon, Deontay Brown. Who was that you said?
Gross.
Gross Matos?
Oh, yeah. Gross. I thought you meant Jordan Gross. I'm like, nah, did you miss somebody?
Not that one.
Cody, you already know who I'm rooting for, man. He's my sleeper pick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
dude.
cousin.
My brother from another mother, you know?
Yeah, Aaron Montiero holding it down for the
Yeah,
Montiero
number
Brass.
62. He looked really good last week. His film from college that I've seen, I wasn't impressed with, but he definitely stepped up his game. Granted, his college film was from 3 years ago. So I want to see him play just as good as he did last week. And if he can do that, I think he's going to sneak onto the roster. And I think he's going to kick somebody else off that we think is going to stay.
Don't
Did
forget
they have
the
him-
Hall of Famer, Shi Smith.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
someone even mentioned in one of their articles that Shi Smith was in a receiver battle, and I didn't know what to make of that. I don't know if he's really in danger of being cut. I think our coaches love Shi Smith.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds like.
Some of these folks that write these articles, I think they get all their information on ESPN and NFL
Probably.
Network.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of read it and I know all I know.
Just before we move on from the D tackle thing, we kept 4 defensive tackles last year,
Yeah.
but I don't think that was necessarily by choice entirely. We had 9 defensive linemen, 9 offensive linemen. We kept 7 receivers last year,
Did we?
and 10 defensive backs. And then we also had a fullback and 3 running backs. And I gotta believe there's a position group or 2 you can trim a spot. And I would like to see them pad the offensive and defensive line depth.
Yeah.
So that's why, maybe find a way to keep all 3 if that's possible.
With Nixon's quickness and ability, in certain situations, I don't see why he can't play defensive end. Maybe not in every down defensive end, but in certain situations, maybe like goal line. Why you can't put that?
Do you think they're keeping KK on the wing in case they need somebody to come in?
Maybe if somebody goes down, I could see, but
They brought him in training camp, and then at one time,
Yeah.
They did bring him in.
That. No.
he was there, like behind, like
Yeah, he was I think he's kind of on their speed dial if they need him.
Yeah, that's
but
what
we just haven't needed him.
yeah.
I mean,
Having
Well,
that
one
bigger-
roster spot has opened up because I don't think we're going to carry a fullback this year. I think they'll use
Yeah.
Tommy Trumbull for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even know how much we'll even see Tommy Tremble in that fullback position. It appears that they're continuing to want to incorporate him into the passing attack.
Yeah, they
too.
used him as a receiver a lot last week.
Yeah, and that I'm loving it, dude. 2 tight end sets, beautiful. I want more of that, dude. Yeah, dude, 100%. Dan Arnold and Tommy Tremble, like that might be a 1-2 punch that we're really not even on the radar yet. Of what
We
they
haven't
might
had
be
that
able to
since
do.
Greg Olsen and Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah, 100%. And we haven't known what that looks like and feels like in a long time. Bill Belichick loves that shit. They've been doing that for years with the Patriots. That's what they're going to try and do this year with Cam. And I think that Sam has already shown a really good affinity for hitting Dan Arnold in practice too. So
It's going to be a important year for Ian Thomas.
Yeah,
right? We know that he was not necessarily in the highest regards last year, or at least if you just look at the usage of him, you can't say they were in love with him. He did not play in the preseason. And on top of that, I just got to wonder, he's probably in the final year of his rookie contract, I'm guessing. He's not part of the Matt Rule era. And I haven't really heard his name come at training camp at all. He's like the invisible man. So if he doesn't perform quickly, you could see Trimble maybe stepping into that spot.
I don't think he's going to make the roster, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Could you see them using Ian Thomas in a trade for Andre Dillard if they're thinking about cutting him anyway?
If I was the Eagles, I'd do that.
That'd be amazing.
Well, they already
I don't
got.
know if the Eagles would
I
take
guess
him,
they
though.
would have to push on from Ertz then, right? Because I've heard a lot of cruddy stuff because I kept Dallas Goedert in my fantasy draft, like my dynasty league. I kept him as a 17th round pick.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, this ain't bad. I might get a starting tight end with this. And then I started reading up on them, and they're like, okay, out of weight, out of shape, this and that. And Zach Ertz is back.
I mean, if we can get Greg Little for something, I mean,
That could get them to move off of Zach Ertz.
Or yesterday.
That's a good damn point. If we can get someone to trade for Greg Little, dude, we can get someone to trade for Ian Thomas, man.
Yeah.
That man likes the trade too, the GM.
Yeah, either that or I fear it's funny. Either trade him or I kind of fear that the same thing that we thought was going to happen to Greg Little is going to happen to him. I don't think he's going to make this football team. I mean, maybe we keep him as some depth. How many tight ends are we going to keep, do you think?
We got like 4 right now, right?
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
I think we got more than 4.
I think we got 5, actually.
Right now,
we got Sullivan, we got Thomas.
We got the Giovanni
6
Ricci guy.
Yeah, Giovanni Ricci, Steven Sullivan, Colin Thompson, Tommy Tremble.
Yeah, that's 6.
Ian Thomas and Dan.
Holy shit.
That's 6. I forgot about Colin Thompson.
I think we're keeping either 2 or 3.
I could see 2, honestly.
I could see Ian Thomas getting traded or cut.
Yeah,
I can see us keeping 3, but I don't know what we keep any more than that for.
Yeah,
well, and knowing how many receivers we're going to have to keep, knowing the offensive line depth that we're going to have to keep, inevitably we're going to have to sacrifice on some other positions. Mm-hmm. Tight end seems to me the easiest, just because we do have a bunch of bodies that are, doing serviceable in camp right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then another position that I wanted to mention was safety, because Jeremy Chin is back in the news for a few different reasons. One, Jeremy Chin is doing this really cool thing. I don't know if you all have heard about this, but Jeremy Chin is going to have an homage to a Carolina great player. It doesn't even have to be Panthers. It could be, football, basketball, whatever. He's going to have someone, I believe, on his helmet or something representing.
I think it's going to be for his pregame. Pregame outfit. That's what I saw.
Yeah. You're right. It is a pregame outfit, and then they're going to sign the jersey and then donate the jersey to the charity of that player's choice.
That's awesome.
So real cool thing by Jeremy Chin, already trying to, continue to ingratiate himself to the Carolinas. You have to love that. And then also from a football perspective, Phil Snow has said that even though we do intend to play him at safety, we are going to still have him as a linebacker from time to time. We're going to find times to put him in the box and to use him as a blitzing safety. This is very interesting to me, and it kind of lets me know that they want to continue to capitalize on the speed and the aggression that Jeremy Chin represents. What kind of role do you envision Jeremy Chin filling for us this season? Do we have a full-time safety, or are we still going to roam him around the football field pretty much wherever Phil Snow wants to line him up?
Or it says a lot about our linebackers.
Yeah, good point, huh?
Yeah.
Terrible linebacker depth right now.
Yeah.
Terrible.
The biggest disappointment on the team so far, I would say, is Denzel Perryman. I mean, what has this guy done?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. He's been hurt more than anything.
Yeah.
Well, do we even know what his injury is at this point?
I don't forgot.
I'm not sure. I'll look it up.
But he was like that when he went to the Chargers. I personally wasn't real high on him when he got here because I thought, well, maybe we'll get lucky and he'll stay healthy, because he wasn't healthy. He only played in like for like 40% with the Chargers. He didn't play a lot with them because he was injured so much all the time.
Yeah, so him, Denzel Perryman, and Greg Irving are the two free agent bring-ins by Scott Fitter that we're all kind of questioning because of their injury history, and it's already following them, and the season hasn't even started. So, yeah, definitely not a good sign. 89 J Stubbs with the 199 says Scott sounds like he hopes a decent tackle gets cut. If they're a decent tackle, they're probably not.
Yeah, they're probably not going to get cut.
Which does kind of make me think that they're, if the rumors about Andre Dillard were true, Scott Fitterer wanting to be in on every deal.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me if the Panthers really put out feelers on that and see about potentially bringing Andre Dillard here.
I could see him making that move.
Yeah, 100%. Going back to Jeremy Chin. Yeah, Zach, where would you put him on this defense right now?
I'd love to see him personally play like he did last year, playing like as a box safety, kind of playing with the linebackers. Kind of like a Cam Chancellor-esque kind of player.
Yeah, putting
like
the boom on him.
As much as I hated the Seahawks in the mid 2010s, Cam Chancellor always was one of my favorite players, and I'd love to see Jeremy Chin take that kind of mold.
I love this comparison here too, Jamal Adams type player.
That too.
Yep, and Jamal Adams is pretty much the leader of that defense over there. Yeah, he's so fast.
Million.
Yeah,
but
Chin's
he's
gonna get paid that way sometimes. By somebody.
Somebody, yeah, for sure. Yeah, hopefully it's with us too.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
But yeah, Jeremy Chin has the potential to be a Jamal Adams type of player for us, and he's also the type of guy that is changing the formation of the defense at the line of scrimmage. Jamal Adams is really a do-it-all kind of player, and it would appear as though Jeremy Chin is the next in line to fulfill Luke Kuechly's presence on this football team as that defensive leader, flying around, making plays. That's what we're all kind of hoping that Jeremy Chin turns into at this point.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't turn out like the Bob Sanders, though, for the Colts.
Bob Sanders for the...
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
He was great, but then he went out so fast. There's so many injuries, so many just going at players.
But
Bob Sanders was tiny, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, and
he was amazing.
He loved to hit with his head, though, if I remember correctly. He was always wanting to hit with his head.
Yeah.
So
I do see Jeremy Chin having a slight fall off of last year. I feel like that was kind of like the lucky rookie sort of deal, So I'm taming my expectations for this year on Jeremy Chin. But no matter what, I think he's going to be great this year. It's just I don't think he's going to necessarily be on the same level.
Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
That's a good point. There's a thing called the sophomore slump that players go through. Do we foresee, Jeremy having a similar kind of thing happen to him this year? And could it be related to the fact that they really don't have a true home position for him? He kind of has to be a master of none right now.
That will be.
Well, I think that this year he might actually get a more true position. It sounds like they're more interested in just playing him at safety rather than that hybrid role that he played last year. And I don't know if they are going to be able to do that, given the fact we don't have any linebackers. We have a ton of linebackers, but we don't have any great traditional linebackers. It feels like. I mean, Shaq, Perryman, a lot to prove for, I guess, Shaq. I think at this point, and
Carter too.
Jermaine Carter.
And isn't it going to be difficult for no matter what? Is like it's going to be hard to live up to what he did last year.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
It was a very, very good rookie year.
Return for touchdowns back to back.
Oh, that was so good. So good.
It's hard to repeat.
We still lost that game. That shit pisses me off still.
Yep.
I know, dude. So,
Fucking
Thanks, Teddy.
Thanks to Tanisha.
Oh, man.
We just need to put that picture up for the rest of the night.
The real dump off.
Yeah.
Real quick, we got a question here. Faye at Nom26. What are your thoughts on Frankie Louvu? Earlier, we said that Frankie Louvu might have a chance to beat out a guy like Christian Miller. Christian Miller kind of seems like a bubble player right now. And from everything that we've all been hearing, Frankie Louvu has been an absolute nightmare in scrimmages against other players, too. He had a good preseason game. He continues to have a good camp. Like, this is a guy that is fighting to be a Carolina Panther, dude. And I love that. I love that kind of energy, that kind of hit-em attitude. Especially on pass rushing downs. I mean, sub packages are going to be big for us this year. That's why this defensive line depth is really important for us right now. Guys like Nixon and Bravion Roy and Gross Matos and Frankie Louvu, these are guys that are going to have to be able to come in on some third down plays and make some big boy stops, man. So right now it's looking like he's going to make the team. I would bet right now, if I had money, that if I was a betting man, that Frankie Louvu is going to be on our roster.
I think so.
This season.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think
Go ahead.
Who? Say again?
What's his name? Obata?
F.A. Obata.
I think we keep him just because he's from London. We need.
Oh, he's not on the team
gone.
anymore.
He's in Buffalo.
He's on Buffalo. He's on Buffalo.
Oh, really? I thought he was somewhere.
Yeah.
He's on the
Last
Buffalo
year-
Panthers. Yeah.
Last year was one of his best years, and I think that was the last year on his contract, and then Buffalo picked him up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Keep rumbling, baby.
I don't think we keep Denzel Perryman.
I think we
Yeah.
will just for the length of contract.
If we don't, it won't be at the start of the season. I think that it's another ego thing. Same thing with Cam Irving, Denzel Perryman, Elfline to a lesser extent. They're going to give these dudes the benefit of the doubt. They're going to give them playing time. That's what they were brought in to do until they're no longer worthy of that role. And
I don't think Perryman starts. I think they start Jermaine Carter at middle linebacker.
I think so too.
Holy.
There used to be a policy where a veteran was on your roster in the start of regular season, they got their bonus money, but if they wasn't, they didn't. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I don't remember all the details of it. And they have a new CBA that just came out recently too,
You're
so
right.
I don't even know
The fact
if
even
it's,
qualifies.
if it's still a part of it. We're joined by Warren Carolina. Warren, what's up, bro?
What's happening, man?
Dude, happy you can join us, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you're crystal clear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just checking you guys out this evening, man. I wanted to join just because, man, I'm so pumped about tomorrow, man. It's ridiculous. Like,
Facts.
About all, in addition to all the great stuff you guys talked about, I don't know if you guys realize this, but the Ravens are on a potential, I think it's I think they tied for the most wins in the preseason to Vince Lombardi's Packers.
I heard that.
It's weird because the crazy thing is that they haven't actually lost a preseason game since they played us back in 2016 or something like that. So so we started the streak, and I think it'd be fitting that we ended.
Oh, yes,
that'd be awesome. That'd be poetic as fuck.
I love that, man. Here in Bank of America Stadium, Sam Darnold's first start. Dude, that's perfect right there, man. So Warren, I want to get your opinion on some of the things that we've already talked about. Let's talk Sam Darnold. What are you expecting to see from Sam tomorrow, and how much do you expect us to see of him?
I don't think we'll see a whole lot. I think it's probably going to be maybe 1 or 2 series I heard you guys cover earlier. I think the vanilla. I think the play calling will be very vanilla. I think we'll get to see a little bit of how he, the kind of improvements that he's made, inside the pocket. I know that, one of the things I read was that, he had a stat where when his feet weren't planted, in the pocket, his, completion percentage was the worst one of the worst in league history. But when his feet are planted and he's focused, he's actually got one of the better completion percentages in all of the league. So it'll be interesting to see if he's, taken to some of the coaching, that both him, the quarterback coach, Joe Brady, and everybody has, been implementing. And so, but I don't expect to see a whole lot, but it would be cool to see him, drop one to Terrace Marshall, and for a touchdown. That'd be dope.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
First play.
Dude, I would Marshall. Certainly. We're wanting to see some deep shots from Sam, man, and I think that's our offense lacked that that bomb shot down the field. So Panther fans are excited for the arm talent that Sam Darnold represents, man, and what he's going to be able to do for us this year.
You guys think Dan Arnold will play tomorrow?
I do. I think he
should. Will we finally get the Darnold to Arnold?
I think
everybody's been waiting for.
Now that you mention it, yeah, but there's
You
never
should.
been a better time to do it, I don't think.
You should.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be
again,
nice if that was the touchdown.
If we're getting the starters at least, one series or two, yeah, man, let them get out there and let them start that connection that we're gonna hope to pay dividends all year this year.
I mean, we passed on 3 potential starting quarterbacks in the draft this year. So I mean, I'm just nervous.
Yeah, man.
But like we've said so many times, where would we be if we didn't go with either J.C. Horn or Slater in the first round, especially seeing how we already had Darnold?
Right.
If we went with Fields, where would that put us?
We would have 2 more holes.
Yeah,
exactly. But
I'd rather fill the quarterback role than the cornerback role.
So then
But let me, yeah, go ahead, Nick.
real quick about tomorrow. Who do you think starts where on the offensive line?
Oh, see, that's. I mean, listen.
What do you want to see?
So I don't. Do we know? Is it all of our starters playing?
I don't think so. I think he said it's going to be like tape.
He says some.
Some.
Yeah. So that makes it a hard question to answer because the starters that we do have on that field, it may not be indicative of where they play to start the season against the Jets.
Yeah.
One Carolina, I wanted to bring you into this because we were talking about this earlier. Listen, I'm convinced it's inevitable. Taylor Moton is going to be our left tackle this year, and either Brady Christensen or Trent Scott is going to be our right tackle. This is partly because subpar history from Cam Irving on the football field, but also the injury history that's also starting to rear its head in training camp. What do you think about the left tackle and the right tackle position and the future of it? Who's going to play where?
I think just to do right by the money, Cam Irvin's going to get a shot. Just simply to do right by the money. And I think that, oddly enough, and look, I'm never going to be a guy that would ever wish injury on anybody. But considering the fact that Carl Lawson is out now for the Jets, I think that it kind of lends an opportunity for Cam to, I guess, kind of set his feet or whatever. The thing with him is can he stay healthy? Because, I mean, the reality with Cam Irvin is this, I'm not really big on the pickup either. I've been called the apologist before because I'm positive about everything, and that's cool. But Cam Irvin's he's got championship pedigree. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl, and I think he won a national championship in college. He was a first-round pick. So, I mean, he can play ball, but it's just I don't know that he's still at said level to do so. So I would like to see him get an opportunity, but if I had to guess tomorrow's lineup, for instance, I do think that if Taylor Moton plays at all, it's possible we could see him start at left tackle, and we could see Christensen because, man, I did this, on my it kind of just got lost in the shuffle, but I did a film breakdown on Deontay Brown and Brady Christensen with the run with Chuba Hubbard. And, I mean, the way that those two in tandem played on the right, I mean, it was championship level football. They were both, in addition to going after their assignments, just watching how they were just instinctive and just feeling where the play was going. They never gave up on the play. And it gave Chuba an opportunity just to kind of get himself, together and then take off for that run. And Brady Christensen was a huge part of that. So, if they would have let, I think about this sometimes, what if they didn't sign Taylor Moton, to the extension? Were they prepared to let him walk and Christensen be the guy? Was that the purpose behind drafting him right there? Because I know he played left tackle in college, but it's still you kind of ask yourself that question sometimes. So I think it's just a hodgepodge, but I do believe that they're going to figure this thing out. And I saw an article today from Panthers.com that suggested that they like the offensive line a lot better than we do. So clearly they listen to a lot of what we have to say about it.
Yeah, man. So listen, we can't start talking about offensive line conspiracy theories without our next two guests, man. PNP in the building.
What's happening?
Both of them. We got Rashad and
what's
Dave
going on?
Yo, what's popping?
Yo, what's going on? Yo, how y'all living tonight, man?
You
doing good, man?
It's a great Friday night.
Yeah, man. I'm happy you guys. What's your
He on that Brown.
Come on, dog.
Look, man.
He on that Brown.
Look, man.
Hey, all right. I feel it. Hey, well, listen, man. Look, you already know what we've been talking about. You already heard us going back and forth about it. I definitely want y'all's opinion. Y'all know that I don't believe in Cam Irving.
Well, I thought you switched on us, man.
No. Hey, man, I never switch up. I stay consistent. Cam Irving, our coaches are telling us left and right that this man has looked good on the left side, that they trust him on the left side. Do you believe it?
Yeah.
Is that a trick question?
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because Cam Irvin ain't showing up. Cam Irvin ain't signing here if he ain't starting, bro. Neither is Pat Affleck.
I agree.
He ain't coming here if he ain't starting. Point blank, period. If they didn't have faith in him, they would have probably looked at that position more in the first round than the second or the third.
Mm-hmm. I think Pat Affleck starts. I think he'll start for at least until he does poorly or gets hurt one. But
which side is he? Is he left or right? Is Pat Affleck left? Oh, go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
I think Christensen's opportunity to start is going to be at the left guard position, and ain't going to be at the right tackle position.
Does he
I'll
play
say that right now?
Do you think that's because Trent Scott is just a better option? Who's playing right? Okay. Are we gonna do the assumption that Taylor Moton is staying on the right side, and because of the politics of free agency, that Cam Irving is just going to be in on the left? But how long do we expect that to last? The man, the man's already dealing with injuries. The man's already hurt though.
But that's the thing, right? But I think he's going to get the opportunity to play in that role once he's healthy. And then somebody's going to have to take it from him. And I don't think there's nobody there that's there to take it from him. That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think this is what it is, man. The five, you've heard it, my man say it. The five is the five, right? This is your five. This is your five right here. Left tackle is going to be Cam Irving. Left guard is going to be Eflin. Paradis in the center, Miller at right guard, and Moton at right tackle. That is the five. Now, I do agree with you, Cody, that will switch up. That is going. I think we'll see about 30 different combinations of the offensive line at some point because somebody's going to get hurt. They're going to start tinkering with it. But right now, the five is the five. That is the five that you will see if barring injury, week one of the regular season. That's the five.
No doubt whatsoever.
I think Darren Gant put out a story today. It was like 10 takeaways from camp, and one of the 10 was they like the offensive line more than you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said that a minute ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy that he said that, publicly. But I kind of believe that same philosophy. But I like Rashad was talking about the concrete five. I do think Scott Fitterer said something I found very interesting, and it just kind of speaks to a potential philosophy that they may have. Like, I'm not so sure if we see one guy just kind of like, say, Deontay Brown, for instance. Like, I think it's possible Deontay could work himself into that starting five. Like, and the reason is because when he mentioned that he sees PJ Walker as a quote-unquote Russell Wilson type player, you got to remember they signed Matt Flynn to a pretty solid deal and drafted Russell Wilson, and he beat him out in camp. He never even got a chance. So, like, I think that philosophy will carry here where I'm not saying that, these guys will necessarily do it, but I'm saying that it's on the table. Like, if they play well enough, you could see them, work themselves into the start.
Is Efline the next who was the guy that we brought in last year that played left guard? Joe Scarborough? Does that sound right?
Chris Reed.
No, that's a running back, ain't it?
Yeah. Chris Reed was
Chris Reed.
Chris Reed.
He's now with
I was going to say, we saw him last week.
Are you talking about the left guard or left tackle? Because left tackle, the one that didn't play was Okun. I don't know if you're thinking of him.
I have it in my mind that the coaching staff, they ultimately want Brady Christensen at right tackle.
Michael Schofield, that's who I'm thinking of. Michael Schofield. Like, I feel like
back, I think
that was last year's 2020 team. Yeah, Schofield and John Miller were two people on the team. Tyler Larson was another one. I think this.
Chris Reed was a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Schofield, I think,
September
was
5, 2020. Panthers turned over after Roger.
I mean,
Well,
also,
Schofield is the guy I was thinking of that, and once he got nicked up too, and then I don't ever think they really went back. I don't know. I got to go back and think about it.
I don't think they went back to him. I think Chris Reed showed out a little bit, and they just gave him the job. But,
yeah.
Here's the thing to remember about last year, though. Look at what happened with Tired Whitehead. Look at what happened with Teddy Bridgewater. Look at what happened with those guys that just didn't pan out, that we paid all sorts of money to. How long they stayed in the game before they got ripped out, if they even did. So until this organization shows me otherwise, those guys, in my opinion, they're going to play. They're going to play until all the fans are beating the table saying, pull these guys out and put somebody else new. I'm hoping that that's not what happens, but just based off what I saw last year.
I almost think you got to give them a little credit, just whether you think or the coaching staff for admitting that they didn't get it right. I mean, or moving on. If anything, moving on from Teddy showed that they're not going to be completely hamstrung by their previous decision, right? Sitting Whitehead was a necessity, and clearly, and hopefully they keep that kind of gutsiness or that brashness of like, hey, when we're wrong, we admit it, pull the Band-Aid off, and move on. And if that's the case, then and I agree with Rashad, is that you're going to see those first 5 guys on that line. And I almost say, why wouldn't you start with that? And if it doesn't work, and Cam Irving looks terrible out there, then you can mix it up, and there's less pressure on the guy that you're putting in there now.
So, Tony, I got a question about that, though. But and I agree with exactly what you said. They're going to go with these guys that they got. They're going to stick with them until they give you a reason not to. But my question is, how long do we have to deal with that? Like, we've seen this. We've seen this a couple. Like, I'm starting to see a trend, right? And like the trend isn't going the right way. We getting these guys. You throw them out there. You got rehab projects. Like, when does the shit stop? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where because we know that Cam Irving ain't it. Everybody knows that. We've seen it. We know that that's not the guy. We know
but the problem is the team thinks he is.
But
I don't know if they think first is I don't think they believe that Cam Irving is like a long-term answer.
That's what I'm saying.
Position.
Okay.
But the long term.
But Tony, that's my thing though. That's my thing. It's
I know
like,
we're tired of it.
I get you.
Hold on. But when do you start to get like permanent? You can't just patchwork everything, right? We saw the same thing with Teddy. Like, we knew Teddy. Well, you guys knew that Teddy was not it, right?
Right.
And you guys called it out, right? He wasn't it. He wasn't the guy. Okay, but we're starting to see this. We're starting to see this more and more. We know this dude ain't it. Everybody in the world clearly knows. Why is it that our coaching staff and the guys get paid millions of dollars can't figure this shit out? And that's where
the only real answer, what would be the answer? What could they have done? I think the Slater is the only pick, the only option that we had that we could afford. I mean, obviously as a draft cap, it would have been like we wouldn't have gone with Horn, we would have gone with Slater. That would have been an initiative. But could we have really signed somebody in free agency this year that is a true difference maker?
If the answer is yes or no, that's what brings me to my theory, call me crazy, that the coaches have already accepted the inevitability of Taylor Moton at left tackle. They know that Cam Irving isn't going to hold up, but the only reason they're telling this to us is because they know they brought him in free agency, and they're going to let him play because of what Dave said. They paid these men like Perriman and Elfline and Cam Irving to play, and they're going to. But they don't believe in them to hold up, at least not Cam Irving. That's why the number of left tackle reps for Taylor Moton continues to increase and increase. I mean, that's why it might not
want to get
that way, but it's
I want to get some opinions about Cam Irving because Rashad, you guys said that we know he can't. He's not it. How bad is he though? Right. I mean, and I was just reading over some of the things that he's been through. Right. Not been through, but he starts with the Browns as a very high draft pick. They put him out there at left tackle, I think, right away. The Browns, though, have been where everybody on that team was a dumpster fire during those type of years. Then he goes to Kansas City, And I think I read somewhere that he was like competing with a 7th round pick at right tackle or something like that. Maybe it was in Dallas. But he's always been kind of just moved around, right? Never played on the line consistently at a certain position. One, I guess his versatility might appeal a little bit to this staff. But is there any potential that Cam Irving is better than Byron Bell?
When you
that's really high.
Wow.
Those are the levels.
Everybody speaks.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we're acting like a little bit, and I mean, actually, that's kind of what I'm acting.
It's a pretty,
like.
And I said it a few weeks ago. That's the comparison to me. That's the bar.
So everybody speaks to that, right? Talking about him getting moved around, but why is that, right? If you were good at one thing, you would stick. You don't get moved around. That's my point with Taylor Moton. When you're good at something, you stick. You don't get moved around, bro. That's why you get moved around.
Well, in Dallas, Dallas had got some real talent. Like, you really think he's going to outplay Lale Collins or something like that?
Okay, and so why is he our starter?
Because he's cheap.
And there's no one else to pick.
Yeah. Well, here's a question. After the Bears drafted their left tackle, they cut Charles Leno, who nobody picked up. Nobody offered a trade or anything, I'm assuming. And he stood out free agency until I forgot who signed him. Washington signed him. Now he's their starting left tackle.
Well, I don't trust anything Ron Rivera and Marty Herney do with left tackle. So
they did pretty good with that tight end. That former quarterback / tight end, they converted to tight end.
We were stuck with Irvin at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's the same thing about when we traded for Darnold. That's when Justin Fields sweepstakes ended at that point. As soon as we traded for Darnold, that was game, set, match, because we made our commitment.
I agree.
Go
ahead, man.
One thing that Matt Rule did say is he said that this is our starting 5 until one of the young guys pushes them out of the way, and also. Whitehead was never benched by the coaching staff. Carter outplayed him when Whitehead got hurt, and Whitehead never regained that starting job.
Bingo.
So technically, Whitehead was never benched.
Bingo.
Yeah, but doesn't that just kind of prove my point that
little bit?
They brought people in, and when they bring them in, they let them play until they can't play anymore.
Did they bring Irving in just because he's injury prone, so it'd be easy to switch left tackle?
So if I don't think
I
gotta hope he gets hurt so somebody else can start.
Yeah,
I don't believe they brought.
Hey, look, we have excuse.
I don't think we brought in Cam Irvin with this idea that we're bringing him no matter what to be the starter. I felt like we knew we were in such a precarious situation on offensive line heading out of last season, right? Is that you don't know if you're going to get the Moton deal done. You're going to have to franchise him. You don't know what's going to happen there. And we really know we don't have a left tackle. We don't have a lot of guys, to be honest. They're all kind of, sort of either unproven or a couple of them are new. And I almost felt like if they wouldn't have acted on early in free agency just to get some bodies, that would have been just as egregious as getting bad bodies.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought the offensive line played pretty good against the Colts. I know it's preseason, but I thought they.
I want to know. Hey, a lot of fans of Trent Scott around Panther Nation, right? Yeah, like he was a name that we all said last year played well for the position he was put
right now.
in.
He's our backup right tackle on our depth chart.
The thing is,
I thought he played left tackle last week.
He did, but he hasn't impressed so far, which was kind of shocking to me.
Right. His stock, in since went down. Nobody was talking about him after last week, that's for sure, except for those false starts.
So I got a question real quick, and this kind of speaks to the versatility thing. Like, do y'all like agree with this whole bringing in it? Because you look across our line, right? There's guys that are playing multiple positions. I'm a guy like, like, can we just get a guy that plays something well instead of just trying to get all these guys that play multiple positions?
I agree.
Like, to me, I don't know if they're working out for us.
I hear that, but my thing is, I think the way the NFL is trending is that players have to be more position versatile than they ever were before. Maybe once upon a time it was taboo for tackles to switch sides from left to right, it's certainly a lot of different techniques. But Brady Christensen talked about it. Taylor Moton's talked about it. A bunch of other players have talked about. It's kind of becoming commonplace. And you might not agree with it. I don't even know how much I agree with it. But I do think that it's kind of inevitable. My question to you all is this. Like, do we think that if Taylor has to move to be our permanent left tackle, do we just expect him to flame out and be a bust, and ultimately we're still having to look to, bringing somebody in to bring Taylor back to the right side? Like, what are our estimations for Taylor playing on the left?
Before we get into that, just read this. Is just because you brought up that the difficulty. What we're talking about is the shuffle right to left. Is that easy? Mm-hmm. This is a guy we brought his name up earlier, Andre Dillard, who in his rookie year, I think this article was it was talking about him playing right tackle for the first time, and he said this. He said, think about it like this: you probably write with your right hand, right? Say all of a sudden you were to write a big essay with your left hand right now. Mm-hmm. You think about how that would feel. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that.
Yep.
And then, Tony, to build on what Cody was saying, in addition to I wouldn't want to personally see Moton at the left side myself either. And the reason is twofold. Number one is just what you mentioned in that article. But the other reason is this. If I'm Taylor Moton personally, I just got finessed. If you're going to put me on the left side, man, and I just got paid as a right tackle, like what? Like you just finessed me. You know what I'm saying? So how you think that's going to affect this production? Because the whole reason they paid him in camp was to try to stop that from happening. You know what I'm saying?
Here's my thing. Here's my thing about that. Let's say hypothetically we move Taylor to the left. Let's say he does well on the left side. You know what he's going to do in 2022? Hold the hell out.
Yep, absolutely.
Trent Williams, here we come.
But according to overthecap.com, if you move Taylor Moton to left tackle, he's tied with fifth on the average per year salary with a left tackle.
But he had to know that going in, signing that contract.
So I mean, because there ain't but 5 or 4 left tackles that's going to get paid more than he is. If he moves to left tackle.
When you say he had to know that going in, I don't know if I agree with that because he got paid after Cam Irvin was signed. So there was already an expectation that they brought somebody in to play at the left spot. So, I don't think that they sat down with him and was like, look, Taylor, we're going to pay you, right tackle money, but we're going to slide you over to the left a couple times.
Well,
I ain't signing that shit.
They might have said, you might see that.
Right. I could level.
Well, you have to know if you're a player on a team where an injury happened.
Yeah.
That you could, if say Cam Irving went down, I mean, I don't think it's absurd to ask Moton to play left, but he's 27 years old.
And that's fair.
Imagine getting an opportunity, though. I know you're saying holdout, but maybe Moton wants that a little bit. Like, give me that next bargaining chip.
Irving's known for injuries, so I mean, and that's why they.
I'm surprised there's not something written into the contract about him if he switched.
How many games he plays as left tackle? He gets.
I'm surprised that what Again,
that's an Aaron Rodgers contract.
Even though
he ain't the highest paid right tackle in the league either. I think he's second, right?
Yeah.
Brain check.
I just got that up here.
But hey, I mean, listen, as a cold-blooded as it sounds,
he's fourth as a right tackle.
Look, as cold-blooded as it sounds, man, dude, it's up to the players and their representations to get them the best deal, man. And
Scottie Pippen?
Yeah, I mean, really, you have to know your value. You have to know your worth. And if Taylor Moton is I feel like this has been inevitable for a long time. If you're Taylor Moton, even didn't he get some snaps during training camp last season at left tackle? I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly or not, but it seems
he didn't get a bad deal. Moton's deal is legit, right? He got some legit money.
Taylor would know that was coming.
Hey, Cody, let me ask you a question, and this is for the whole panel. Really, I saw New Daddy-O in the chat said something that's really interesting. That this fits with the Seahawks vibe. Don't care much about the offensive line.
Yeah,
but
it does.
Let me ask you this: with saying that though, in this salary cap league, you got to give up something. You can't have everything. So if you giving up something, what are you choosing to give up? Because I know protection is one of the most important things, but with a new coaching staff, COVID, and everything considered, we rank 18th in the league, which is right in the middle. You know, not. I mean, obviously it's horrible, but we still had 4 players go 1,000 yards from scrimmage, including Mike Davis, who ran for over 700 yards himself. So like, I'm saying it's not. I don't think it's an end of world scenario, and honestly, I believe it'll be an upgrade from last year. That's just my position on it.
And that's
doesn't that speak to next year? Doesn't that speak to next year where I think we're supposed to get some money? Because doesn't it sound like, I mean, if we have to give up something somewhere, where have we paid anybody at this point? You know, I mean, if you think about it, it's just Christian McCaffrey. It's Christian McCaffrey and Taylor Moton and what, Shaq?
And Shaq.
Sir, let me address this, sir. When we went on that free agent signing spree, all that money got pushed into 2022. So we started the offseason with like 100 and something million in cap space in 2022. Now we're down to about 40 something million. It's not a lot of money. We're not getting a lot of money next year, bro. It's not happening. And I think a lot of that money is going to be addressed. And they're already talking about Fitter. Already talked about extending somebody. I'm assuming it's either D-Jack or DJ Moore. One of those guys is getting extended. So, and then you talk about the franchise tag or the Taylor Moton deal. A lot of that money is getting pushed in 2022 as well. So we cannot bank on 2022. Now, this is where I think we're talking about offensive line. And John, I'm not sure if you were talking about I think you mentioned the ranking for the offensive line, and you talked about that potentially being better. Are you saying that that's going to be better this year?
Yeah, I think it could be. I think because we've got players that are a little more serviceable than last year, and then really just the reps, man, the OTAs, training camp, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
fair enough. So so you say we got to give up in one place, right? And I feel like when you have Taylor Moton getting paid, that's the only guy you're gonna for 2022. He's the only guy you're paying. That's where that's where you draft. You're young now. You have a guy like Deontay Brown. You have a guy like you have these young guys that you can stick in there. Was David Moore prior to the cut? I don't know why we cut him, but guys like that. When you build a young offensive line, you draft guys. That's where you're making your sacrifice. We're not building them. We're trying to go out and pay these guys like we're talking about Cam Irving. That dude's getting paid like $7 million next year in 2022. So that's where your money's going. Like Cam Irving is going to be riding the bench, getting paid $7 million next year.
Honest question, Rashad. Would you have taken Slater over J.C. Horn?
Yes. Any day, every day. And I said it when we did our round table, 1,000%.
I remember that now. Yeah.
I would have taken Rashawn Slater 100% all day, every day.
I'd love to meet some Rashawn Slater. He was my number one left tackle. But hey, man, listen, there were 3 players that the Panthers could have picked, and I wouldn't have said a word. It was Justin Fields, Rashawn Slater, and J.C. Horn.
Where did
either of those 3 guys? I mean, obviously, nothing's more important than quarterback, and then left tackle and corner. It's like those are 1, 2, and 3. But I believe J.C. Horn's going to be the defensive rookie of the year. Am I a fanboy?
Absolutely.
You're damn right. I'm a fanboy. But look, man, I'm a real believer in J.C. Horn and what he's going to do. I'll say this, and again, it's so early, man. But Federer is a much better drafter than he is at signing free agents. Because right now, 2 of the biggest guys, the biggest names that we brought in Denzel Perryman and Cam Irving, we're already talking about how we're going to replace them. And if Jermaine Carter Jr. is going to step up and beat out Perriman for that inside linebacker spot. So, I mean, it's only 1 year, so we don't have a large sample size. But until we see how this season goes, yeah, the free agent signings leave a lot to be desired, especially when you add in what Rashad said about the contracts. Like, that's not ideal. But
that money was pushed in 2022, dog.
Right.
Well, the good news is I don't think we're as hitched to Cam Irving as financially as we may think.
That's not the point.
If this is correct according to Over the Cap, we're hitched to him for this year, right? So if we cut him this year, we would be stuck with giving up $8 million in dead money. We're still going to have $4 million in dead money if we cut him next year, right?
That's the problem.
But you do save $2 million.
You can't skip over that, bro, because that's the problem. That's where Perney was bad. You can't just say that, oh, we're not going to be. You got to stop paying trash. That's the problem. We're paying trash over and over and accepting it because that's what we're used to. That's not how you build a team, bro.
I got a question too, though. So, like, I don't know how much you guys think this plays into things, right? But, like, you know, my man, I think it's Panther Rule mentioned Charles Leno from Chicago. Like, how much do you think that when agents are going to these players asking them, you know, where do you want to go as a free agent, that they're looking at us like, well, I ain't going there. You know, like, I mean, no disrespect to, you know, our team, because obviously, you know, I would want to play here, you know, because I'm a homer. But I'm just saying, like, do you think that plays anything into this at all?
I don't really see how it would. I mean, especially if we have a good squad and we're just a few pieces away.
But there's another thing. There's another thing you're missing. It's about whether or not you get a starting job. And it was interesting because we interviewed Philly Brown today, and we asked them why Carolina, and the big reason why is because the 3 top wide receivers were no longer on the team anymore. They knew they were going to draft a guy, but they knew he had a better opportunity to make the team. So when you talk about somebody like Leno, they already signed Irvin. He ain't touching that because he knows Irvin's going to end up being the guy.
Good point. Philly Brown was dope too.
I think Charlotte's becoming more of I think the city itself has become a more attractive place, right? Man, like Charlotte's a great city. I thought we would get more street cred with free agents with when Cam was here, you know, but we didn't have no money. We have no money at all. And again, you want to go back to offensive line. Cam was the luxury that allowed us to ultimately adopt this style of who gives a crap about the offensive line. I tell you this is that if our quarterback was a valuable statue over those 10 years, we would have been surrounding him with some great talent. So that's a disservice to Cam. And really, we have been, and that's where you got to wonder what Ron Rivera is doing in Washington, right? Is like he's just used to using bargain basement offensive linemen. He cut Morgan Moses is gone there, who's played a lot. And in some ways, that's Taylor Moton's greatest ability so far has been his availability too, right? So I do think Carolina is becoming more attractive a destination, but it will really hinge on if we're good this year with Sam Darnold, if people are interested in that. Because if we're not good with Sam Darnold, we're going to be drafting at the bottom, and then it's not going to be attractive. I don't know. And then maybe we need the Hornets to get better. We need the Hornets to get better.
Winning.
I know they are.
Would you trade back up into the first round to get Christian Slater with Philadelphia, with Robbie Anderson, and maybe a first round pick next year?
Who are you talking about?
Rashawn Slater.
Yeah, Rashawn Slater.
I think that at some point I'm kind of with Rashad on this. Isn't it better instead of drafting 7 people to just get 3 really good ones? And I'm not saying that Rashad was suggesting trade away everything for those picks, but
Robbie Anderson.
But like getting players that you truly believe in rather than guys that you hope to be project players.
With the 39th pick, we traded with Chicago, and we gave up 2 picks to get 3 picks because that's what Fitterer wants to do. But in that turn, Chicago took Stevion Jenkins to play their left tackle spot. That's the reason why they cut Leno. But granted, he got hurt, but still, nonetheless, you imagine Carolina would have kept that 39 pick and drafted that kid to play left tackle.
Tevin is a right tackle, and Tevin is hurt right now. So Tevin,
and
I don't know. I like Tevin out of college, but I don't know if that was a good example.
And it made it sound like they were thinking about taking Terrence Marshall at that spot anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think Tevin was even in the cards.
So again, they don't put priority on left tackle.
Our GM historically doesn't. The GM does it. He came from a team that didn't.
Yeah.
Seattle never went to go protect Russell.
He came from a team that didn't to a team that doesn't.
Yeah, but hold on. Even that thing right there where we're like, oh, well, the Seattle Seahawks never prioritized that. Like, you're talking about a whole front office. I think it's too easy to just put that all on the plate of Scott Fitterer. And look, let me keep it real with you,
culture matters, though.
If I'm right, and I'm sticking to my guns. Brady Christensen and Deontay Brown that's our future at right tackle and right guard. So
But
if
future
we
means
came
next
away-
year.
But if we it might be sooner than you think, Dave. It might be way sooner than you think. But what my point is this: if we came away with 2 starters on the offensive line, like that shows me that at least in the later rounds, Scott Fitterer knows how to draft offensive line. So that gives me some hope that going forward, this isn't going to be a huge problem for us. It also doesn't make me worry about Taylor Moton's money next year and whatever, dead money we're going to end up having from Cam Irving. Although I do agree it's a bad contract. We shouldn't have signed him. I don't believe in him. But overall, I like what we have seen from Fitterer drafting on the offensive
I love
line.
what Fitterer has done in the draft. I'm just trying to remind folks that he came from an organization that didn't think the offensive line was a top priority.
But Dave, I'll say this.
One thing I just want to bring up is that you can just because, and I understand, like it's not like we can't dismiss that data that Seattle of their history, but we've also kind of attributed all the good things Seattle did to Scott Fitterer, all the bad things, and that I don't think is like what Cody is saying is fair. But I do want to bring back Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott go to Buffalo, and I think they adopted some philosophies where they learned from some of the mistakes that Carolina made. Mm-hmm. And this might be, you guys, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I thought that they were all of a sudden really close to being a good team. And then they went and traded aggressively for Stephon Diggs to get Josh Allen a top fleet weapon. And that's something we never did for Cam. Right. And it's just kind of like this is like, and I just wonder if that's a symbol that they learned from what they experienced in Carolina, and hopefully Fitterer can display some qualities like that.
Remember, to Cody's point, remember that Eagles draft room when the guy was trying to dap the other guy and he was just not having it?
Yeah. I mean, there's disagreements in the front office all the time. Guys that are pounding the table for one player or another. Like I said, man, any combination of those 3, I would have been tickled pink, man. Justin Fields, Rashawn Slater, or J.C. Horn. I mean, again, like we're forever gonna compare Sam Darnold and
to every rookie.
Yeah. Like we're gonna continue to do this no matter what. All I know is that J.C. Horn, based on everything that we've seen from training camp, and 2 seen from his college film, I have no reason to not expect the world of him, man. And I think he's gonna torch it this season.
And haven't Panay been getting his ass kicked in preseason?
Who?
Well, he's not playing left tackle. They're starting him at right. They already had a left tackle.
Yeah, Detroit is killing him already. Yeah, Detroit is not doing him any service. But real quick, going back to Fitterer in the offensive line, because I think one thing we can take solace in is that he knows the reality of the offensive line. Right? He goes in. He says in his press conference, like, "Fam, we're not going to go out and get they don't grow on trees, right? Left tackles, you're going to have to trade for one or you're going to have to draft one." He understands that. And I think that's key because it appears that he wants to fix it, right? That's what I'm hearing. Actions speak louder than words, but it appears that he wants to fix it. And so, again, we got to see what's going to happen. And you can't fix everything in 1 year. We had the opportunity to take a huge step forward fixing the offensive line. Didn't do it. We went cornerback, and obviously I'm with you, Cody. I got high hopes for JC. JC, love JC Horn, and I don't want anything I say to take anything away from JC, but I love Rashawn Slater. I think Rashawn Slater would have been a guy. But again, just take that note with Fitterer. I think he wants to fix it, and let's just hope that next year, if things depending on how things play out, either one, we're going to trade for a franchise left tackle or we're going to draft one. I think he knows that needs to be done.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, guys, look at it this way. Nobody really expected us to win the Super Bowl this year. I mean, it would be great if we did, but nobody's really expecting that. It's second year of Matt Rule. He worked on the defense the first 2 years. I think next year we're going to see them put some draft capital into the offensive line. Our best hope is that Sam Darnold actually shows to be a competent quarterback. If he does that, then okay, year 3, I can see us taking a huge step forward. If not, then we got a problem.
Let me ask this to Rashad. What do you think is the chance? Let's say Taylor Moton plays left tackle. Do you think there is any chance that he plays that side and holds it down enough to actually be our left tackle going forward? Like, what are the chances of that actually happening in your mind?
Let me reverse the question and ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you think Taylor Moton is going to be as good as left tackle as he is at right tackle?
Yes.
Whoa,
but that's just because you want it to be.
We can't.
Right? And just like in the same question for Rashad, the same thing is what is that if he says no, I don't think Taylor Moton can hold it down. It's just it would just be because not only because, but you think that the right tackle's the better decision. We just have no data on it really. So I mean, we should be happy if it works.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean that we should play him tomorrow then? My thing is, if we're going to play him at left tackle, we need to play him in the preseason at left tackle.
Right.
Down the road.
Nick, you're right. You're right, bro. Because I agree with you, and I've been trying to tell Cody this. He won't listen to me. But Taylor Moton has not been getting enough reps. Yes, he got the reps yesterday. That's because Irving was hurt. The only circumstance where Taylor Moton will become a left tackle is if Cam Irving is hurt. He hit over the course of
where the chances of that happening.
Oh, 100%. I think it's 100%. That's why I agree that he will eventually be left tackle. I agree with Cody. It's going to happen because
I think Moton starts at left tackle tomorrow night.
I think you should, and I think you should play the first half at left tackle.
I really don't think.
Let me tell y'all something right now. Let me tell y'all something right now. If Moton plays left tackle, you ain't seeing Sam Darnold. I can promise you that.
No, I don't believe that at all.
I agree with Dave. I agree with Dave.
I promise you, bro.
I agree with that.
If Moton is playing left tackle, you can better believe that we're not seeing Sam Darnold tomorrow, and then we'll be having a different discussion next week.
We talking about a defense that's posted top 5 for the past 5 seasons. You cannot put a guy out there who has not been on. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I agree.
You out here seeing how they protecting that man. Y'all think you're gonna man?
Like if that's look, if that's gonna be our future, okay, Rashad, you were saying that we gotta stop signing these bum players that don't work out. I 100% agree with that. Well, I'm also mad at the coaches right now because again, I think they're delaying the inevitable. Like Taylor Moton should be getting as much work on that left side as humanly possible, and the fact that they're not doing it is a disservice to our team right now.
Cody, they're slowly doing it.
Cody, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, man.
And I'm really not trying to be sarcastic. I'm just asking a real question.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell, it's been said, could play slot or even potentially outside receiver in the NFL. Would you prefer him at running back or receiver?
Receiver.
Running back.
He don't have to work for running back anymore.
I'm not moving Taylor off the right. I know he can do it, but I
get your point, and
I understand what you're saying too, because it's kind of like just you're trying to piece things together as best you can just for the protection's sake. But another thing we got to remember, Joe Brady's offensive system. Go back and watch that LSU tape.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the quarterback's popping the ball out of his hands so fast. We've got receivers that create separation so well. I don't know that left tackle, as long as it's serviceable. I don't have to. I'm not saying it's got to be the all world left tackle, Panay or whoever. But if it's serviceable, I think it'll do the job.
But then doesn't that kind of lead to my
Panther
point,
PTSD right here.
It really is.
Say as long as left tackle is serviceable. That's all we say every year. And I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. If it's okay, I'm hype.
Doesn't that lead to my point though? If Joe Brady's system doesn't require this world beater left tackle or any position or on the offensive line because of how fast we're getting the ball out, then even if Taylor isn't quite as good on the left as he is right, it still might be the best option if you're able to fit Brady Christensen or Trent Scott on that right side and still have an offensive line that works.
But that's
yes,
probably
Rashad, we want a left tackle. Yes, we do.
But that's probably the same thing that Matt Rule is saying. If I can just get a guy that's serviceable and put him over there, we'll be just fine. That is the same thinking that is getting us in this situation every year where we continue to not draft a guy because we could just get a guy that can take a couple snaps and be just serviceable. No, we have to get a guy, bro. We got.
I think Taylor Moton is a guy, man.
But Rashad,
I'm willing to be called a fan. I believe that Taylor Moton's going to hold it down.
Rashad, let me ask you. Hold on, let me ask Rashad a question real quick because you just said a lot that I agree with. But two things: Seattle we say is the bar, right? So we've compared a lot, and I'm not saying that for everybody, but I'm saying like that's been part of the conversation that Seattle's the bar. If Seattle is the bar and they've never really paid close attention to the offensive line, or at least put enough emphasis on it to the point where we could say like they're always ranked in the top 10 in the league or somewhere close to that anyway, right? I'm sure that these conversations have happened like you and I and everybody else is having in this panel right now between Fitter and Matt Rule. But I'm inclined to go with what Scott Fitter is going to do because he's coming from a place like with the Horn pick, for instance, and the Keith Taylor pick, for instance, building those tall corners, right? I'm inclined to believe a guy like that who comes from a place that with a shoddy offensive line went to 2 Super Bowls, won one, and has never had a losing season since he left Seattle.
But we don't have a Russ.
Yeah, that's the luxury. It's like the luxury of Cam, the luxury of Russell Wilson.
We don't have a Russell Wilson. But
so we
could develop in a lot of other places until we get that because before they had a Russ out. Look, they were still a playoff.
Sam Darnold, though.
They were still a playoff team before they had a Russ. They were 7-9, and I know it's a losing season, but they went 7-9 back to back before Russell Wilson, and he came in 11-5, and they've been on the roll ever since.
Yeah, but
so what was the biggest problem with the Jets' offense the last 3 years?
Everything.
Yeah,
but the offensive line has been trash. But you're right; they had nothing.
But they didn't. But you know what? Tim Jenkins pointed out on you guys' podcast like maybe 4 months ago. They had receivers that struggled to create separation. Yeah. Like I'm talking like major struggles. So I don't know that the offensive line is the only thing. And I'm like, I know I've been pegged as a Sam Darnold apologist, but I just believe in this guy. I really do.
Sam had an average of 2.5 seconds to chuck the football. I forget if that was last season or over the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
But you have a guy that is seeing ghosts. And you bring him in and you don't address the offensive line until what, 3rd, 4th round? Sorry, no, that is not right. Like we've been pounding the table that this offensive line has been atrocious the last how many years? No, I'm a firm believer that within the first 4 rounds, every year you need to draft some sort of defensive lineman and some sort of offensive lineman. And the fact that we didn't do that until as late as we did. With the system that we've had and our weaknesses that we've had, no, that's not right. That's not cool. If we go another year and we don't draft somebody for the O-line before the 4th round, I'm even going as far as to say by the end of the 2nd round.
Well,
Matt Rule is no longer going to be Matt Rule. He's going to be Matt Rivera.
The 2 positions on our team that we know that we're in dire straits in is offensive line and linebacker. Mm-hmm. So we know that next year's draft class – we better take more than one of both of those positions because our depth is, look at the conversations that we're having right now.
But speaking of linebacker,
I don't know about Sam Darnold being on the level of Russell Wilson, but I agree with One Carolina, man. Like, there's so much potential. There's so much potential in Sam Darnold, and he's yet to realize it. And I think the thing that makes us, the most frustrated is it can go either way. Sam could absolutely shit the bed and be terrible, or he can live up to all the physical talent that he has and all of the pre-draft hype and actually be that kind of player. And by the way, Joe Brady has a history of turning around quarterbacks. I mean, look at what that system was able to do for Joe Burrow.
Which is more likely to happen, though.
Cody, we've seen this story multiple times. I would say, you know what? I can't see your name there. Sorry. I'm sorry, partner. But I would say the more likely scenario is that Sam turns the corner. Because if you look at like last year, I mean, I've said this before. New York was ravaged by COVID, man. I mean, when I say ravaged, I'm talking about the worst state in probably the union when it comes to COVID. So I'm not saying that Sam Darnold gets a pass for how he played last year, but what I am saying is that, man, he went all year packing his lunch, going to work every single day hearing about Trevor Lawrence. Every day up until they won a game. Then they won another game, and they were out of the sweepstakes. To go through that, to go through what he went through for 3 years and still come out and have some sort of, I guess, potential for a career left. And he didn't pitch up he pitched up bad numbers last year, but the year before, I want to say he threw 19 touchdowns to 11 picks. So every year his interceptions came down. Even last year, he was only 9 touchdowns to 11 picks. So he's improved in certain areas every year, but we going to really get to see this year, especially with all the things that you see. Like I saw, what's my man named? Jordan Palmer today was talking about Sam Darnold on Colin Cowherd's show. And he was talking about how Zach Wilson is going to see a lot of the same struggles that Sam saw, and it's going to validate Sam because they really have not made major changes. They've had a lot of injuries. They got a left tackle that came to camp overweight and just, lazy, whatever. So it's just an organizational, it's a culture thing, and I think we have established a culture here. It might not be a consistent winning culture, but I think we have enough of a culture that we put together that he can come here and thrive, man. I mean, that man didn't even have a quarterback coach last year.
Right.
Yeah,
I was going to bring that up
That's
is the kind of weird thing about the Jets, and this is why we can hang hope on and optimism on Sam Darnold to a certain degree, is Adam Gase was the head coach, he was the offensive coordinator, and he was the quarterback's coach, and he wasn't good at any of them.
Facts.
I just want
a better situation would help, and you guys would know who's our quarterback's coach now. It's actually somebody that's been with Stafford. So I don't know. I mean, look, is that you can't if he doesn't perform well in Carolina, he has weapons now. He has a team that puts some belief in him. He's got, according to all of us who want to believe in the guys we got, is Joe Brady, who's this budding offensive genius, and then we've got this quarterback's coach who's got some help. He's got Christian McCaffrey. Right now, it's put up or shut up for Sam Darnold, and that's kind of cool too because for the Panthers, they get a cheap option next year on the 5th year if he turns out to be very good.
What if he turns out to be bad? Where do we go?
It's boom or bust.
We're gonna be watching Justin Fields like crazy. That's what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah, man. I don't think it's boom or bust for Sam. I think Sam is.
I think it was average. I'm good with that.
I disagree. I think, and I've said this on our show a number of times. I think this season is either going to be one for the record books to remember, or we're going to be picking top 5. Man, I've said that it's going to be boom or bust. I don't think this is a middle of the pack football team.
I agree with that, but what I'm saying, I'm talking about Sam specifically. I think Sam is straight no matter what.
I just don't like a second rounder for him.
I mean, the team goes the way Sam goes. Is that too much of a stretch?
No, it's fair. No, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think he'll get some amazing help by the defense, but I think that I think that no matter what happens, how good or bad Sam Darnold is, I think he's good for at least 2 years. That was my point. I agree with
that, Rashad.
I don't think he's not going anywhere. I think he's comfy. You can tell it in his demeanor. He ain't going. He's fine. And I think that either that's going to be a good thing or it's going to be a bad thing.
Well, wait. Let's expand on that a little bit. Okay, because we were doing this the other day with Dave and Matt Rule on if it was a hot seat year for Matt Rule, right? So if Sam Darnold, hold up. So let's apply that same thing. If Sam Darnold really has a bad year this year, do we really think that we're giving him another year worth of leeway? Because to me,
here's my thing. If you think Matt Rule's surviving this season, regardless,
oh shit, here we go.
Then Darnold's going to be a quarterback regardless. I don't think Matt Rule's going to get the opportunity to have a third quarterback.
Matt Rule's not going anywhere anytime soon.
That means Sam Darnold's going to be your quarterback at 2020.
But I mean, is Matt Rule that connected to Sam Darnold?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
All right, so then Rashad, I want to hear your answer. But if based on what you just said, do you agree with Dave that let's say Sam is terrible this year?
I never agree with Dave, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it don't seem like it. And that works out. I never really agree with Tony either. So that it's that good balance. But I mean, look, let's just say Sam Darnold is worse than Teddy Bridgewater was. Like, are we saying that we're not going to be looking to upgrade that position? Because I have a hard time believing that one.
No.
If we upgrade it, Rule's not going to be the coach.
I think
Rule's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
sorry to tell you that, Dave.
I think that's a package deal. I agree with Dave. I do agree with Dave in the sense that I don't think Matt Rule is going to get another quarterback. I think we've made our bed with Sam Darnold. That's it. And I think you're going to see them together for the next 2 years, together no matter what, 5 and 9, whatever. That's going to be the guy. And then after that, I think in year what's it 2022. If they don't write the shit by then, that's when I think Matt Rule might be get his walking papers. If it ain't turned around by then, I think it might be a wrap at that point. But this year, I think we're still kind of building. And if you look at Matt Rule's history, like it or not, you can talk about the colleges in the NFL. Matt Rule, it typically turns around in year 3. Year 3 is when it
What would have to happen, Dave? Like win total would have to happen in your mind to create that moment where he couldn't even survive year 2? Because I'm kind of the idea is this: he's either trending.
I made a bet with a podcaster, man. Tony.
Panthers on tap. Shout out to Panthers on tap.
Shout out to Panthers on tap. If Carolina wins 6 or less games, I don't think he survives.
Wow. I think that's a high. I think that's
this season.
Too high of a number.
Look at our schedule,
Did you say 10?
6.
No, he said 6.
Oh, I thought he said 10. Whoa.
No. If he goes 6 and 11, 5 and 12,
we should start out 7 and 1.
We should at least be 4 and 1.
Yeah.
But what if we're plagued by injuries though? Like, what if we had a season that was derailed by injuries?
He ain't got no excuses there, bro. He doesn't even want to play Sam Darnold in the preseason.
I mean, he's playing tomorrow.
Is he? Is it confirmed?
Yeah.
Sam
tomorrow.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's playing tomorrow.
All right, I didn't see no report saying he confirmed it. I think the last thing I heard was he was going to play it by ear based on the injuries of the line.
That's what I heard too.
And decide whether or not he was going to play him.
He said several starters.
That doesn't say Sam. And then when they mentioned Sam, he said he should play, but I'm worried about the depth of the line, so I'm not sure if I want to put him out there.
That's what he said. Yeah, that is accurate.
So
I wouldn't play him at
tomorrow.
all.
But I'm willing to bet that we'll see Sam Darnold tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's a strong possibility, but I wouldn't say it's locked in like everybody.
It ain't locked in.
I think it's he
like I'm not willing to bet this one, but I think he should play. But the fact that he made the comment of, oh, well, it depends on the health of the offensive line that I might sit him. That makes me concerned.
So I have the quote. He says, we're leaning towards playing Darnold, Rule said. We'd like to play him. We're just making sure we have a full complement of guys around him that can help him.
And I think he said that last week, too. That's why he didn't play last week.
But I think they're going to find those guys. guys.
Where are they coming from?
He's going to play this week. I believe
they're hiring Cody.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we're going to see Sam. I don't think we're going to see him very long.
Hey, Dave, can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
You said, I just want to make sure I was correct in what you said. You said if Matt Rule finishes the year with 6 games, you think he's done?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I can see your logic, but here's why I don't agree.
I can't.
I can see the logic, but because of today's NFL and the pressure that they not only have from the media, but from now us, right? Because they listen to us, whether or not they want to admit to it or not, they listen. Y'all are proof of that with the interviews that y'all keep doing, right? So I'll say this. David Tepper said when he hired Matt Rule and signed him to that contract, what was it, 7 years? Biggest contract for a rookie head coach ever, right? He said, I'm looking for my Chuck Noll. Now, I recognize that, we can't go too far back, but let's just look at something real quick. Chuck Noll was 1-13 year 1, 5-9 year 2, 6-8 year 3, and then finally went 11-3 to finally go to the Super Bowl the next season at 10-4. So I think that Matt Rule has minimum 4 years.
You know what else he said? He said that he also was going to be looking for his next quarterback too, right?
Facts.
But the bottom line is, I think the contract length for me, in my eyes, it really doesn't matter, bro.
I agree with that.
There's no cap for the coaches. He just has to pay the bill. If he feels like they're not going in the proper direction, then he's gonna say, "Look, man, I have to just accept it and go try to find another coach."
Right.
Because he's gonna see all these other coaches that he's seeing all these other options he had being super successful, and he out here sitting here being the same team, and they're changing all these pieces and nothing's happening. So that's why I just don't see the vision of him getting the opportunity to have a third quarterback.
And I can see your logic in that, Dave. Real quick, I can see your logic in that, Dave. But at the same time, I also look at someone like David Tepper, who is a very smart man, by the way. And I know he has to look at a situation like Jerry Jones and see what happens when the owner supersedes a decision. Like, you gotta give it time, man. Because I just do not want to see.
But the thing
I don't
is,
want to see us become that franchise, man.
I agree. But my problem is that I agree. But the problem is he hasn't shown that he has patience yet. He hasn't shown it. He hasn't had a winning season. He's like clawing for that shit.
Right.
And like, I don't think he wants to see another 6-11.
That's the same dude that said I'm the tiebreaker, bro. Like, what the fuck is you talking about? The tiebreaker?
And always chumming around on the field all the time. Like, he's at everything. Bro, I think he's more involved than we think. Here, my 2 points about this.
And my thing, and one more thing. And my thing is this too. Like, I could also see a scenario where he gets like rules like 5-12, 6-11, and then like Tepper goes and nudge Rule like, "Yo, man, how about you go look at these college jobs that are available right now?"
But hey, I wanted to respond to like I'm more on David Rashad's side on that, in that I haven't seen enough evidence. I have not seen enough evidence yet to say that David Tepper isn't going to be the Jerry Jones type because of all the things that we just mentioned. I mean, you know, okay, but the reason why I say that is because even a month or two ago, or even less than that, we were still hearing reports that the Panthers might be interested in Deshaun Watson, even after all this stuff. That's not a Matt. That's not a Matt.
I feel like that's
decision.
an arbitrary, like a
What
headline they have
what
to
I'm
write.
saying is, if you're hearing that, it's because David Tepper is the one making that decision. That hey, we're still looking into Deshaun Watson. You can't tell me that Fitterer or Matt Rule right now is
We're
looking
going way
bring
too off. I got
Deshaun
something to say about the Rule thing. Now we've gone from Tepper to Watson.
Go ahead.
The Rule thing, I think, is I think Rule gets 3 years regardless.
Agreed.
And the reason I say this is that, Dave, I mean, if we come out and win 2 games, then sure, I could see a scenario where like they're like, nope, this ain't working, and we just go. But I don't think we're a worse team than we were last year. So
No,
I
I
really
don't.
think
And
think that like that's kind of a scenario that's so far beyond my comprehension. I mean, if anything, I think what I want us to do is get to 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah,
and us feel like we're chipping away at the momentum.
Yeah,
if we do that,
8 or 9 wins is enough.
8 or 9 wins guarantees them year 3. 8 or 9 years wins.
Sam Darnold and not Christian McCaffrey. More so.
I think this is that like as long as I don't know. I don't have any evidence to believe that the defense is going to be worse than last year. I don't have any evidence to believe that the offense can be any less effective, right? So I expect the team to progress forward. But if we do win 6 games, 7 games, year 3 is the prove it year. If you ain't winning 10, 11, then see you later, homie.
Bingo.
But if you go 8 or 9 wins, then year 3 is guaranteed, and year 4 is a possibility.
We need a
probability.
More than 5 for sure. It needs to be more than 5. We gotta see some level of improvement.
Who in here thinks we're gonna win less than 6 though?
No,
I could see. I could see a scenario.
I can see it.
Unless we have a lot of major
I'm
injuries.
surprised we even got a show with this dude, man. What is he talking
Wait,
about?
you said you could see that, but that's not what you're predicting, though, is it?
I mean, I haven't done my final prediction yet, but I mean, I'm thinking it's gonna be like 7 to 8. You know,
Dave,
so like the bet won't be valid if my prediction hits.
What is your bet, man?
That's why Philly got on his ass today. That's why
Dave,
Philly was on that ass today, boy.
Dave don't even look like he believe what he's saying.
No.
The bet is it was a friendly $25 bet. If the team goes 6 wins or less, I think they're gonna fire Rule. If they fire Rule, I win. If they don't fire Rule, Panthers on tap wins. Okay. If they win 7 or up,
gave away
there's no bet.
Facts.
Yeah, you gave away some cash.
Bro.
Can I make that bet too?
Yeah, let's go double or nothing on that.
No, if they win more than 7 games, the bet is void.
Where they win more than 6 games, the bet's void.
Oh yeah, I already think they're gonna win more than 6.
Me too. I mean, what's the Vegas line? I can't remember what the Vegas win total
7.
was.
Yeah, but see,
7?
my thing on Rule is if we don't re-sign Sam, that's when Rule's gone.
Yeah, the package.
You know that.
Oh, I
that's
told y'all
it.
that.
It's not going to be sooner. It's not going to be sooner than that. I don't think it's going to be at the end of this year. I think it's going to be at the end of next year, if anything.
We're gonna open up Pandora's box, right? So, like, if Sam wins 8 or 9 games, that might be enough to sign him.
Yeah.
That might be enough to sign him on past his final year.
Don't do that. Don't do that. CMC is back 3 more games. Nah. Don't
Yeah,
do
he
that.
lost every single
Dude, he was
game
0-3 when he played last
Don't
year.
do
So
that.
that ain't
I
it,
was
boss.
saying that too, man. Even when Christian played, we
Don't do
weren't
that.
we weren't winning, man.
We're
Like,
a better team though.
Facts.
We're definitely a better football team.
W's.
A better
don't matter.
team. A better team is a winning team.
If we ain't got W's and that shit don't matter, that's bullshit.
Dog.
We're playing worse teams though. We're not playing. Look at our schedule.
Dude, we lost to the Raiders. We're better than the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, we had
We should
lower
have won
draft
that
picks
game,
than the
too.
Raiders.
I don't think on day 1 we were better than the Raiders. Like, I mean, come on. They had they've got a 5th-year quarterback.
You're telling me right now that you're telling me that we weren't better than the Raiders. We had a better running back than them. We had better wide receiver core. Their offense is not that
Josh
good.
Jacobs ain't no schlub, though. Yeah, I mean,
Compared to Christian McCaffrey, he is.
Compared to McCaffrey, he is. Did we have a better quarterback?
Until the end, man.
Who had the better quarterback?
That's debatable right there.
Yeah, the Raiders.
Oh, it's not even.
It's
not debatable.
That's debatable right there.
Nah, Tony, don't make me go back to the tape and see what you said back before that game. I know that you had us for winning.
No, I said this. If we don't win against the Raiders, I said this at the beginning of the season. I promise you this. Go back to the tape. If we don't win against the Raiders, it's going to be a long season, right?
You're going to say
that was our most winnable game in the first 5 games.
Our defense was trash at the beginning.
And they ran they marched down the field on us.
But their defense wasn't good either. Like that's my point. Like they weren't better than us. Like they were not better than us.
It didn't blow us out.
Yeah, but I could say that about a bunch of the teams that we played last year.
Just like the Jets. If we walk up to the Jets and we out here, Sam Darnold ain't playing enough reps during the preseason, and we walk up and freaking lay an egg week 1 against the Jets, it's going to be a long season.
They just lost 2 players. They just lost 2 players. They lost Carl Lawson.
Oh yeah. No, we should blow these guys out the water.
And I forget the safety's name. Towards Achilles tendon too.
We should be 4-1 starting this season. Period.
Exactly.
How brilliant is it the NFL for scheduling the Panthers Jets in week 1?
Yeah, man.
It's not a relevant game in week 8, right?
No.
In week 1, it's a great headline. It's Zach Wilson, rookie sensation versus former draft pick by the Jets. If in week 8 we've formed our opinions about Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson by that point. So what a brilliant move by the NFL to schedule that for week 1.
Well, that's
great that they did that for week 1, but who in the heck scheduled us against the Texans to be a Thursday night game?
Well, see, and that's just what I was about to speak to. I think with that just shows you that they listen to Vegas odds in situations, because that shows you right there, especially a primetime game, our only one of the season. They was expecting us to have Deshaun Watson.
Wasn't Matt Rule trying to get that Jets job before
Giants?
Yes.
No, I mean like 2 years ago.
He was supposed to be hired by the Jets. They were going to hire him, but once he said that he wanted full control of the staff, they said no.
That's a revenge game for him too.
And you had Scott Fitterer saying that Matt Rule was asking about Sam Darnold in the offseason.
Hey, I got a question.
And that's
for y'all
part of the
real-
reason why Sam came here.
My bad.
Yeah,
I
go
got
ahead,
a
Sean.
question for y'all real quick, man. This is kind of shifting a little bit, but I just want some feedback because we talking a lot about Matt Rule. And my first question is, one, what do y'all feel about DBO? And number two, I was at practice. On what was it, Wednesday, and I saw a very stark difference between the way the Ravens practice and the way the Panthers practice. I thought it was interesting. Just
Salute
pointed
to
out
you
a
for the
couple
streams
things.
too, bro.
Yeah, no problem. Just doing a service for the people, man. I'm a man of the people. But real quick, I saw some differences. Just the way the quarterbacks handle themselves. There was an instance where the special teams players are doing some work on the opposite field, and on the field, the field near the fans, you see Lamar Jackson and the quarterbacks doing work. Meanwhile, our quarterbacks are just standing around. And the vibe, the way that John Harbaugh ran his practice was just stark. You could see the clear difference between the two. So I got just the question about DBO, like how y'all feel about that, and then just kind of, I guess, I know you're hearing the second hand, but what are your thoughts on that difference between the way he practiced?
I mean, how much of it is the difference between Harbaugh being a chiseled NFL veteran coach and Matt Rule being his second year in the NFL? I think that probably has a little bit to do with it. I'm not certain that Matt Rule has completely learned all the best practices yet, which isn't ideal for us as a football team. But listen, this is our coaching staff is young along with our players, so they're kind of learning on the fly too. I can't really speak too much to the differences. I mean, until we see how they look during the game. The DBO signs kind of corny to me, bro. And what is it? Okay, if there was evidence that it actually led to less penalties or whatever, yeah, bro, I'm all about it. But like right now, it's like some high school bullshit to me, and I don't really like. Right now, you're just the only headlines that we have connected to it are the players that fucked up enough to have to run over there constantly, like Cam Irving. Like that's what Cam Irving is known for the most. Training camp is running to the damn DBO sign, man.
What did you say? This is the thing that you said that gets it for me, man. You said it was some high school shit. Matt Rule is a college coach, and he's trying to use college tendencies with grown men. I understand that they're young grown men, but they're grown men who are making millions of dollars. And there was another thing where, like Rashad mentioned it when we were with Lunch Break Hot Take, they had J.C. Horn ran to the DBO sign and he walked back.
Yeah, I heard that too.
To the field. Yeah. So like these
It's
players ain't taking this shit seriously.
Yeah, they don't even take it serious.
So do things like that to your players, eventually they're gonna turn you off. And that's another factor that we're not talking about either if these wins don't start showing up.
I think the premise makes sense though, and to speak to the first point that you had made, Rashad, which is a good thing for any NBA fans in here. Anybody remember what Kyrie Irving looked like in Cleveland before LeBron?
I know what Kyrie Irving looked like at Duke. That's what I know.
Anybody remember what Kyrie looked like after or with LeBron?
Yeah,
like the point I'm making is this: is like I know, but like no, seriously, like it. You know, the practice habits and everything. Like, I think that some of what they saw from Harbaugh, who is, of a esteemed pedigree, that can rub off. You know, we might see some things change. You know what I'm saying? So that the whole experience of it, was a good thing. And then the DBO sign, like you talked about, like seeing somebody like Harbaugh not do something like that could make that change as well, especially when because I was listening to the stream when you talked about how JC went to the sign and then was just walking back. Like Matt Rule was really gonna be like, bro, you better start running. Like, come on, man. Like you ain't gonna.
Well, he knows he can't do that because he
Exactly.
doesn't. Because it's the trust of the players, man. The players got to respect you too, and I don't know if he's fully learned that yet.
There's definitely a transition from coaching college students that are on scholarship and like what the coach says goes to now you're coaching grown men to make their own paycheck. They go home to their own family, their own wife and kids. Like there's just differences from coaching NFL to college. And hey, I'm willing to say that Matt Rule probably isn't up to snuff on all those types of things that we're talking about when it comes to practice, both what they're doing on the sidelines, like what Rashad was talking about, with Harbaugh on the Ravens, and like all this DBO shit. Like I can't really come down all the way on it because unless if it's making some kind of an advancement with our players, I don't know about it, and I don't have the eyes to say that it is or isn't.
I know somebody that already.
My untrained eyes, that DBO thing is juvenile.
I know somebody with the trained eye that already felt a certain type of way about it, and we play in week 1.
Facts.
The Jets
Wait,
head coach.
Say that one more time.
I already know somebody that does have a trained eye that feels a certain type of way about the way he's doing that, and we play him week 1.
Salah, what's Salah I got to say?
Salah pretty much said that that's not a way that you give accountability to grown men.
But he said what's not. But he said what's not a way.
About DBO.
Man, tell Salah to pull up on week 1.
Yeah, bro.
I think he's doing what Carolina, brother.
Yeah.
He is ready to pull up. Like he is ready to pull up. Like
that D line ain't though.
It ain't.
So is Detroit's head coach. He's ready to break kneecaps.
Yeah, but neither is our O line.
Yeah, no.
Our line is just a question mark. We all just mad because we don't know what the hell our offensive line is going to be right now.
We know what it's going to be. I think
we know what it's going to be.
We know it's the 5 is the 5. I think you just in denial, bro.
Week
No,
1.
I mean, to start out, it might be trash. But I'm thinking that we're going to have some guys that are going to step up. This offensive line is going to surprise some people. I really think so.
Once we find 5, you probably right.
Maybe not the initial iteration of our offensive line,
yeah,
but eventually this is going to sort itself out, man.
Asterisk.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The first half of the season is the part of the season that we're expecting to win. So if it takes half the season for us to figure out what our O-line should be, what's that going to do for the second half of the season? Other than possibly give us a chance to win some games that we shouldn't win.
That's a good point.
Sure.
By the way, Charles Arnold asked, and I don't even know.
Don't beat ourselves. Don't beat ourselves.
Don't beat ourselves. Okay.
And it seems like ever since ever since we put that sign up, we've been doing nothing but beating ourselves.
10 penalties.
Cody was like,
bro, that shit.
You can't defend it, man. You can't defend it. You cannot defend that shit.
But is it supposed to be corny? Like, is it like everyone knows it's kind of corny, so they're kind of laughing about it?
I mean, maybe,
bro, it doesn't go.
That's why he jogged back.
Y'all can't be happy about nothing. Y'all can't be happy about nothing. I mean, good God.
Bro, dog. I was like, when I was like, I remember when they started doing the DBS, I'm like, what the hell does this shit mean? I'm like, don't beat ourselves. All right, no shit. Why would you say something like that? Like, of all the things you could have came up with.
I was out there the first day it went up, and I didn't see the sign, but I saw everybody running towards the tent. And I was like, what is going on? Like, what are they doing? Like, is there some water over there or something? Like, it was a lot of people. Like, it was that first day it went up. I mean, it was at least like 10 or 12 people that went over. I think the whole offensive line went at one point. It was a lot of people. When I saw it, and then they made the announcement of what it was. And it was don't beat ourselves. All right. I was like, all right, this is cute. But like, is it gonna work? And then you come out there on week 1.
No. You skipped too many pieces. You brought the sign to Indianapolis.
You packed it up. Somebody packed it up.
You packed the sign up. You sent it to Indianapolis. You brought it to the practice field.
You didn't just make a new one?
No.
They packed it up, bro.
They packed the sign
They
up.
rolled it up. They rolled it up.
Put the joint up there. They stacking the sign in Indianapolis, and then you come out there against Indianapolis and drop all them damn penalties.
Hey, just imagine being a Colts player and watching the Carolina play. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing, bro?
Whose job was it to wrap that thing up and bring it to Indianapolis? That's what I don't know.
I wouldn't tell if it was mine. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. Hey, when they went the first practice with the Colts, it was almost identical to the first practice with the Ravens. The second practice against the Colts was as good as the second practice against the Ravens. What's Rule going to do? Wait till week 2 and figure out, okay, now we got to play better. Then we're going to lose in week 3 and play in week 4.
I disagree with that, though. We the first practice, we was locked in. The first practice against the Ravens, we were straight. Like, you could tell they learned something against the Colts, the joint practice. We were good. The second practice took that good to a whole nother. We were like on a whole nother level.
I was at that camp.
We started out okay, bro.
Okay. Hey, I wanted to ask another question that I think was relevant and something that I heard Matt Rule said. And Rashad, I know you've been down to training camp a bunch, but there's this continued narrative of the Panthers not being able to connect on the deep passes. Now, Matt Rule says that this is on our receivers. He even says that this is on.
Oh man!
I'm just relaying the message. I'm just relaying the message.
Continue, my bad, Cody.
I'm relaying the message, man. But so
Rashad's reaction is all I need.
He's saying that basically, in his words, that a lot of these receivers still have what they call camp legs, so that guys who might run a 4.3 or a 4.4. They're still getting up to game speed. He says that they're just not, that they're not on the right rhythm. Okay, so you're over there laughing.
They're used to Teddy, bro. They're used to Teddy. They're used to being able to jog.
Remember when we said that ain't it.
That ain't it.
Listen, so what is it then? Well, why if the Panthers are having trouble connecting deep, what is it? Just as simple? Is it just as simple as Sam is inaccurate?
Yes.
Yeah,
and that's all it is. And that's what the film shows too.
Cody, the numbers don't. Yo, he has been bad throwing the deep ball, bro. I tried to tell y'all that. Y'all didn't listen to me. He is not a good. He got an arm. You're right. He's got a phenomenal arm. He can slang that thing, but the accuracy, even from a clean pocket, yo, you can talk about the offensive line up there, but the fact is, he is not a good, accurate deep ball thrower, bro. Pause.
Teddy Bridgewater had a more accurate long ball than Darnold.
I'm not saying
his entire career. And I know you guys don't want to hear it. You can say, well, Teddy doesn't have the arm. That's fine. But when he did have the arm, he was a more accurate passer.
He threw one deep ball last year, bro. Not one.
Hold on. So Rashad,
he did throw one.
The only one was that Oakland one, and DJ had and Robbie took it to the house. It wasn't even that big of a pass.
But if Darnold throws 5 and only one catches it, what does that mean?
We're talking air yards. No, we're talking air yards. Go ahead, Nick.
So Rashad, so what you're saying is we not only have a Joey Sly kicker, but we have a Joey Sly quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a good compare.
Sly hits long.
I have not seen many deep balls even in practice. Period. Pause. Okay, that I have not seen it, and maybe they're holding it again. You don't want to show everybody. I get it.
I saw a lot of dump off when I was there.
We could come out slinging it, but I tried to tell y'all this last year when y'all killed Teddy Bridgewater for not throwing the ball deep. Is that is the offense that get the ball out quick to your playmakers that have the ability to take it long. Y'all killed Teddy. You just killed Teddy Bridgewater for throwing the ball to Robbie Anderson and him running 60. That's the offense, bro. That is literally.
You're trying to tell me Robbie Anderson couldn't beat a guy deep downfield? Man, I know one point he did with the Jets.
Robbie Anderson didn't have his first 1,000-yard year until he had Teddy Bridgewater as quarterback. He had Sam Darnold.
He was a possession receiver, dude. No, who would have thought that when we brought in Robbie Anderson, we brought him in to be a possession
connecting
receiver.
on the deep pass, whether it's last season or this season, it's going to be 100% connected to the quarterback. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson will open a ton downfield, and Teddy just could not connect with him. Now, hold on. If he can't. Sam Darnold, he might not be more accurate down the field this year. We're going to have to find out. But the offensive
but he'll
system,
throw it that way.
The offensive system is not the problem with our ability to connect on the deep shot. Like those are just the easier plays to hit on is those underneath stuff, and they're using that to open up the downfield attack.
If you think no, hear me out. If you think Teddy Bridgewater wasn't good with the deep ball last year, if you don't think he was that good with the deep ball last year, you now have a quarterback that's willing to throw the deep ball, but there's going to be worse accuracy than what Teddy showed you last year.
All right, let's make a bet.
Wait. And it could be two ways, right? There's two things that could happen if he's inaccurate. Either he's going to throw more picks or he's going to miss them, and you're going to be pissed, just like y'all were with Teddy when he missed.
Dave,
but the numbers show that he's worse.
Dave, bet me $25 like you did Panthers on Tap podcast.
He got it.
Bet me at the middle of the season. Bet me at the middle of the season. Well, hey, we'll come up. Look, you want to say what? More touchdowns, better completion percentage?
Nope.
What you want to do?
Percentage.
What you want?
Completion percentage. Deep ball completion percentage.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
Right, deep ball. All right, deep ball.
Just because it's completed doesn't mean it's accurate, though. If he has to come back 5 more yards,
But the point,
deep ball.
the point is like we only have like one common theme with Sam Darnold versus Teddy Bridgewater, and that's Robbie Anderson.
And DJ Moore.
No. We don't know what DJ Moore yet. Sam hasn't had DJ yet.
Oh, you're talking about right now. Okay, got it.
But they've both played with Teddy. I mean, they both played with Robbie. And remember, Robbie came to Carolina because of Teddy.
So just to have another receiver.
Sam Darnold is gonna have a better year than Teddy Bridgewater, and I'm willing to bet, like you're doing your Matt Rule tape, bro. Sam Darnold, and listen. I'm not saying that Sam's the most accurate quarterback right now, but what I'm not going to do is take Matt Rule's assertion. I'm not going to take Matt Rule's assertion and say that it's just.
You want to put a 60% bet since you think it's going to be accurate?
Let's do it. 25.
Hey, Dave.
So we're talking downfield accuracy?
Dave, I'm going to get killed in the chat for this, but did Cam even up to the Super Bowl year?
Yeah, he did. Twice.
60%?
Yeah.
Up into the Super Bowl year?
That was his best.
Yeah. No, his best
I thought his Super Bowl year was
first season. Yeah, we can't do that.
I thought the Super Bowl year was 59.
We can't do that because Cam brought so much up to the game that it didn't.
I do agree
matter,
with that, Rashad. I
So
agree
we
with
can't-
that.
No,
we
I
can't
think
do that,
the Super Bowl year he was like 59.6, 59.7%. He was
Correct.
a little on the 60.
They lit
But he
the
hit
Lucas
6%.
passes,
He
too.
hit 60% prior to that, and he hit 60% after it too. He hit 6% with New England last year. He was almost 30% last year.
Carolina led the league in drop passes that year too.
Huh.
They were dropping balls.
Yeah, he had bumps too, so I can't get with it. But I hear what you're saying, but I can't do that with Cam because he brought so much more to the game than just throwing the ball.
Yeah, but I think there's a false perception about
And didn't have
him.
good receivers either.
There's a false perception about Cam and his accuracy. Like it ain't like the guy was like throwing 55%, 54%. The dude was like 58. Like this worst year might have been 57. The dude had over 60 like 3 times in his career, including last season.
To a bunch of receivers that dropped and didn't make a damn inch of separation, man.
You know what, Dave, to your point too. Let me turn my mic down a little bit. I'm sorry, y'all. Dave, to your point too, for comparison's sake, man, the standard in the like 80s, 90s was 57 to 58 and 59%. That's
Different
what
game.
Troy was throwing. That's what Steve Young was throwing. You know, I think Steve Young actually broke the record in like 94 or something crazy like that, right? And he was the first at above the 70. But for the most part, everybody was like sub 60, 59, right at 60, kind of, you know, and that really changed. The real person that really changed that was Drew, man. Like, but it doesn't necessarily, like for Cam, like Rashad said, he just brought so much more to the table with the rushing element, and then the plays that they would create would be longer developing plays, so there was more of an opportunity for the passes not to be completed.
Since Cam came in the league, he's led the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Not just with quarterbacks, just with the entire NFL.
No, but here's more stats because Bomani Jones was talking about it yesterday during the preseason game. He has 70 TDs. That's good for 32nd all time in NFL history.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
32nd. He has a
Cam's
legit
so
shot
underrated,
to be
bro.
top 20. He has a legit shot to retire top 20 in both passing
man.
yards and TDs.
And look,
That is
Cam's about to ball this year too, bro.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean,
good this year, and he's going to land a starting job next year. No doubt about it.
Carolina
wouldn't surprise me.
No, he won't come back to Carolina. Not after what we did to him.
Let me keep it on these Panthers. I asked this a little bit earlier, but I want to ask it again because we've already had some spirited discussions here. What are we looking for tomorrow night from this preseason game? Like,
Sam
is there
Darnold
something?
playing?
Obviously Sam Darnold, but I mean, okay, obviously that's for everyone. Outside of Sam Darnold, give me some players that you're keeping your eye on.
I'll go first.
Pick 6.
I'll go first. I'll go
Go ahead,
first.
Rashad. Go ahead, Rashad.
So I want to see. I'm trying to look at these backup cornerbacks. I want to see Keith Taylor. I know he got lumped up pretty good against the Colts, but I want to see Keith Taylor. I want to see what he's about. I also want to see if Kenny Robinson is the real deal. We know He got cut off his rookie deal, and that's never good. So I want to see if he can come back and duplicate that effort. I know he did good in joint practices, had a pick on Thursday. So I want to see if he can actually come in and do what he needs to do to solidify maybe that backup safety role, maybe start if we go 3 safeties. So we'll see with Kenny Robinson. I also would like to see more from Deontay Brown. I know he got hurt.
Yeah.
But listen, this dude gave up 0 pressures in the run game. In the pass game. He took 14 total dropbacks, gave up 0 pressures, and I need to see that because a weakness of his game apparently out of college was that he was not good or not necessarily that's where he could develop is in the pass protection. So there's a better run game in the run blocking. So I want to see if he can duplicate that effort. I'm also looking to see. I need to see J.C. Horn have his moment, bro. I need to see J.C. Horn come out here and get a couple PBUs. I mean, he don't got to have a Patrick Surtain pick 6. That would be nice. But I would like to see a couple PBUs just so he can have his shine and his moment. But outside of that, if Sam is playing, I want to see him do his thing. And I want to see that starting offensive line group. Pretty much outside of that, if the defensive line or the defense is starting, I want to see the defense dominate because I don't know if Lamar is playing or not, but I need to see them dudes go out there and kill.
Rashad, let me ask you a question real quick, and then I'll let somebody else go. Like, how much, like, with Deontay falling as far as he did, how much of that do you think was the fact that we didn't have any, like, not pro days, but the combine, not have a combine, and really get to see, like, because I think somebody like him fell, and like even a Davion, I know that there was some talk of some off the field stuff with him, but like, for guys that good, do you think that the COVID situation had a lot to do with guys like them falling where they did just because there wasn't enough evaluation?
Yeah, I think so. I think you had a lot of tape on Deontay, but again, I think the biggest thing with Deontay was 1, his weight. Can he keep his weight under control? And then 2 was that his pass protection, right? That was a big thing for him because a lot of people know that he was playing alongside that total Alabama offensive line was legit. Like they were good as a unit. So are they that good individually? So there were some question marks around that. But yeah, I think a combine would have helped him out for sure. I think would have helped out. I think that's across the board, right? I think a lot of guys would have benefited from a combine. Yeah. But him specifically,
Trey Smith.
Yeah, Trey Smith, another one. Why you have to say that, bro?
Because he was in my top 50, bro.
Why you have to say that? Because we got a long snapper that's gonna get cut, and we couldn't. So anyway, I digress. But yeah, to answer your question, John, yeah, I think Deontay got a little snub because of the. But thankfully, right? Because I think under normal circumstances, he would have been a second round pick at worst.
Right.
I was such a fan of Deontay Brown. I was legitimately surprised the Panthers picked him because the Panthers never picked the players that I love, bro. It never happened. So when I saw Deontay Brown, dude, when I saw Deontay Brown, I was like, all right, man, all right.
Bro, Cody. Cody, imagine if we would have had Deontay Smith and
Trey Smith.
Deontay Brown and Trey Smith.
I know, bro.
I would have.
I know, dude. I know, man. That was one of my favorite guards. Just nasty, man. Just mean as wannabe, bro. And apparently, isn't he starting for the?
Yes, he is, sir.
Cody, you think there's any chance Tecklenburg will start over Paradis?
Well, okay. This is another thing. I'm happy that you mentioned that. Panther will mention it earlier. Okay, But we already mentioned how this line, it's I-85, it's a work in progress. And I said that the line that we start with is not going to be the one to be finished with. I would not be surprised at the end of this season. I don't necessarily think it'll happen, but I would not be surprised if Tecklenburg is a part of these guys that ends up stepping up and really contributes, for this offensive line this season, man. I think Brady Christensen has a chance to do so. I definitely think Deontay Brown has a chance to do so. And, Tecklenburg, I've been very impressed with him so far based off of the limited amount that I have seen from him. But, Tecklenburg's held it down, man. And knowing that we only have one more year of Paradis also, hey, dude, if we can find another, full-time center that we have for another 3 years, dude, I'm all about that. I love that. But while we're on you, Carolina, what are you looking for this preseason matchup, man?
It's a couple of players that I'm, looking to see. Honestly, I'm looking to see how Patty Fisher and what's my other guy? Clay Johnson, I think is his name, does it in that middle linebacker spot, because I don't know what the hell's going on with Denzel Perryman, man. I know he's injured, but man, we're not seeing anything. There's no updates or anything like that. So we really don't. Yeah. It's just kind of in the dark, man. And it's just kind of, I don't know if they're just kind of saving them. But, when we were on the panel with the draft situation, I had mentioned that was the one signing that I scratched my head on, because I'm like, man, this dude has not played a single full season in his career, in his entire career.
He about to add to that too.
Yeah. And so,
what was that dude that played for the Cowboys that always got hurt? Lame ass Cowboys fans.
Sean Lee.
Sean Lee, bro. Yeah. Lame ass Cowboys fans wanted to compare him to Luke. He's never that. But he was injured every single year, man. Mm-hmm. So we signed that dude. Our starting linebacker that we signed and our starting left tackle have terrible injury concerns. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that happens, man.
I'm interested. I'd like to see if they put Shy in the starting rotation. This coming game.
Oh, that's a good one.
Shy is I'm gonna tell you, Shy is a very, for all the things that he does well, the one thing that he is incredible at, man, he is an incredible deep ball receiver, deep route receiver. His ball awareness is just ridiculous. If you look at that play against the Colts, man, he caught that ball and got blasted by a safety, and he just got that moxie, man. His last name is very fitting, right? Exactly.
Yeah, man.
So
I'm loving
it. Wait! Don't do that.
No. I'm not. Look, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm not saying he is, because that's a developed
and then
product.
Everybody was saying, Shy Smith was talking to Steve Smith on the sideline. They're already palling around.
Don't do it.
Yeah, man. Hey, I feel it though. Listen, I'm a Clemson fan, but I swear, bro, I go hard for these South Carolina boys, bro. J.C. Horn and Shy Smith. I'm telling you, I think they're gonna be some real ones.
So, Cody, you like the Cox?
Man, pause. Double shot.
My bad. I had to test you out.
Pause, bro.
Pause, bro. I had to make sure you was put
pause, bro. Not pause.
He goes deep for those Cox.
Oh, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing?
My bad. I didn't mean to. My bad.
Hey, yo.
So real quick, I want to get everyone's opinion on this. Okay, second half of the Colts game. What'd you guys think of the right side of the offensive line?
The right side? You said the second half?
Yeah.
I was overall impressed with it. So considering both of them were basically rookies, I really was. So
I didn't have a ton of issues with our offensive line, other than a few bad snaps here and there. I didn't take too much umbrage.
So Rashad, Dave, what did you guys think? Because that plays into who I'm keeping my eye on.
In the second half,
it
was decent. I didn't like. I wasn't a fan of how we played in the second half as a whole, bro. I got so frustrated with everything that was going on in the second half, because it was clear that they were trying to win, but not really trying to win.
Yeah.
Which we never should have tried to win that game. That it's preseason. It doesn't matter. You play, especially with the amount of unknowns we have. You play the guys that you don't really know at all the positions that you don't really know if they can play. Which is the same reason why I say Taylor Moton should play left tackle if we're actually going to move him over there. That sort of thing. But the guy who I have my eye on is the same guy that Matt Rule talked up earlier this week. It's Aaron Montero. Has nothing to do with the last name. It's just the fact that he didn't play at all, and he's been on the team for 3 years, and he came in during the preseason game, and he played pretty good.
Yeah, he was guard before too, so he was solid.
Not left guard. Now he did play at least some left tackle in college, but his college film, at least the Clemson game that I shared with Cody, his film was not good. It was terrible.
Yeah, he had never played guard, period, though. But he moved over to play guard, and he looked all right.
He played both left and right guard.
Yeah. Because in a pinch, we shouldn't have been in that pinch, because we should have had David Moore. But I digress.
Did anybody ever ask Matt Rule about why they cut David Moore?
Bro, nobody asked. Fam.
That's about.
Nobody asked, fam. Like, yo, come on. Like, we need to know. We need to know these answers, B.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised she didn't quit. Didn't ask. I thought that would have been one that she would have asked.
Oh, but one more. I got one more. Y'all need to keep your eye on, man. Real quick. Another person y'all need to keep your eye on. That's Brandon Zylstra, man. Y'all need to make sure y'all keep an eye on BZ. That's the homie.
That's your boy.
That's
Is he making the team? Real talk.
100%.
Oh yeah, he's making the team.
He's making the team.
1000%.
Right.
All bias. And
nah, he making the team anyway.
All right.
I'm keeping my bias. That's my guy.
Man.
BZ is
Special
my guy,
teams,
yo.
bro.
He's my guy, so he is 100% making the team.
Okay.
Rashad goes home and makes dinner for Zylstra every night. That's why he always
whatever he want, yo. I'm cooking it up.
I wanna quickly talk about my guy, talk about who I'm looking into for the game tomorrow because AEW is about to come on. So
yeah, it's almost 10. We better get out of here.
I gotta go see CM Punk too.
That's right. So that's what I got about.
Right.
So for me, I'm kind of curious to see Brady Christensen, where they put him. I think they're probably going to play him more at left guard in this game. It'll be interesting to see where they decide how, like the percentages of where they put him. I'm looking forward to seeing Deontay Brown, and I'm going to be focusing on the rookies. If Darnold plays, that tells me that they're going to have confidence in that particular line. So I hope the starting Ravens defense, can play, so we kind of get an idea of what this really looks like.
Yeah.
But from that standpoint, like from a player standpoint, like Davion Nixon, I want to see what Christian does, but I want to see how much he plays left guard versus right tackle. The receivers, I would love to see Terrence Marshall get more shine. It doesn't sound like Robbie Anderson is going to play.
No.
So that means Terrence Marshall is going to start again. So I'm looking forward to if DJ Moore and Terrence Marshall starts, I would love to see what that combo looks like. But primarily I'm looking forward to see how our defense does too.
All right. So I think we've gotten everybody. I know I asked some of y'all earlier about what y'all were wanting to see from this preseason game. I guess I'll give mine, man. So I'll give you three of them. And, the first one's kind of a 2-for-1. It's Deontay Brown and Brady Christensen. Dude, I'm telling you, I loved what I saw from those two dudes lined up next to each other, man. I think that's a great duo. I really do think that's the future of the right side of the Panthers offensive line, man. And maybe that's just my fan talking. That's fine, but I'll wear that on my sleeve, bro. And then number 3, I'm going to give you one who I'm wanting to see him continue the training camp that he's had thus far. That's Frankie Louvu, bro. Dude, Louvu is a real dog, and we even mentioned it earlier on this podcast. I think he's at a danger of taking Christian Miller's spot.
I've been on that.
Yeah, I really think so. I think Louvu is a dog. I think that they're definitely going to look to bring him in our defensive line rotation, and I'm wanting him to continue that too, man. So. Yeah, those big bad boys in the middle and on our line, Christensen and Moore and Frankie Louvu, and then obviously Sam Darnold, but that just goes without saying. And my last thing, bro, we have to cool out. No matter what we see from Sam tomorrow, bro, everyone's gonna have a million different hot takes.
Yeah,
bro, we all gotta chill a little bit.
I'm just
we
hoping
can't overreact. Yeah, we just gotta let this play out. There's too much time. Everybody's gonna want to write him off or say he's the best. Yeah, probably neither of those, man. But let's just see what he does and give him the benefit of the doubt.
Cody, you forgot somebody, man. You forgot somebody.
All right, who am I forgetting, bro?
Brandon Zylstra, man. Keep an eye on Brandon Zylstra.
I don't think I did forget him, but if you say so, bro.
Y'all hate. That's hate right there.
Hey, Cody.
Yeah,
I got to build on something you said with because I really been thinking about repurposing this. So I did a video of a recap of the preseason of week 1, and I talked about this when I first came in. But when we were talking earlier about me and Rashad, when I asked Rashad about Deontay Brown, when you said if he had a combine that would have helped him, man, if you really watch that Chuba Hubbard play, like we talking about mastery, man. When an offensive lineman doesn't have a nose in his face, if you don't play assignment football, it can become a lonely spot for you because you literally could be looking around like, well, who do I block? What do I do? Right. So when this ball is snapped, Deontay Brown jumps into Tecklenburg's man, right? So they double team the guy that Tecklenburg's on at the center. The linebacker who's not showing blitz, who is his guy because it's just it's man coverage. The linebacker comes down to the box. He jumps to him. When Brady Christensen's guy, when the play looks like it's dead and Chuba Hubbard's just kind of standing in the backfield because it looks like a really slow developing play. But when the play looks like it was blown up, this guy just ever so slightly bumps the guy that Brady Christensen was blocking, and Chuba Hubbard's off to the races. That is championship level football, man.
Yeah.
And you just love to see that. That's why I'm saying I think this guy could really work himself into that 5. That instinct is ridiculous because you got to think and I played offensive line. Like you got to think as a person, as a person who like that when you don't know what's going on behind you, but you just keep going till the whistle blows. Like you do not stop. Championship level football. And just the way he chipped that guy that Christensen was blocking, man, unbelievable.
Bro, for the past 2 years, I mean, I remember scouting Derek Brown and watching that Alabama O-line being, damn, who's number 65, bro? Like, this dude is a monster. Yeah. I mean, I've been watching Deontay Brown for, more than just this past year. I've been aware of Deontay. So I'm a super fan of his. I'm 100% in agreement. I think that's our future right guard right there. 100%.
I'm still surprised we got him, bro.
Yeah, I know. That's our future, man. Hey, dude, that's why I mentioned him and Christensen. Like, dude, if we came away with 2 starting offensive linemen in this draft, that's pretty damn good, man. Yeah. But listen, it's 10 o'clock. These dudes are trying to watch CM Punk or something, bro.
Yes,
We're about to get out of here. Look, let me give everybody an opportunity. So, Warren, if you haven't done so already, man, hit the like button. 64 people still watching, 52 likes. Hit the like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for every time we go live. Rashad and Dave, man, tell them where they can find y'all.
All right, you can go over to Panther Nation Podcast, man. We on the road to 12,000. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button for your boys. Just a shameless plug, man. We had an interview with Philly Brown today, member of the 2015 roster. In his words, the greatest team ever for the Carolina Panthers. Not my words, his words. But interesting conversation with Philly, man. Real cool dude. So check that out on Patreon, patreon.com/Panther Nation PC. Twitter, Panther Nation PC, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. So just follow us, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right.
Hey, as always, I appreciate y'all for jumping in, having the spirited Panthers conversation. Panthers creators support one another, so I appreciate that love, y'all. Yes, One Carolina. Hey, man, you made some new fans in the chat room tonight, man. A lot of the people in the chat room are saying they love the insight that you bring, man. So why don't you tell these people how they can find you, brother?
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. One Carolina, everywhere, man. The One Carolina Show, but just One Carolina on YouTube. One Carolina Show on Twitter and Instagram. But it's a pleasure. I've been at this for just a few months now, and I'm super excited, man, on the road to 1K myself. So I'm excited to just continue to build and network with you guys, man. One of the things that I feel like I haven't done enough, and I'm want to start doing more, is just tapping in, man. This was fun tonight. I had a really good time just because I talk this kind of stuff to my wife every night. She's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? So like,
I can feel that.
Hey, brother, look, we're doing this Friday free for all every Friday at 7 p.m., man.
Right.
So if you want to come cut up, you know where it is, man.
Absolutely. But yeah,
and
salute,
y'all check out One Carolina, like and subscribe. Dave, what you still here for, man?
Oh, I already turned it on, man. I'm disappearing.
All right. No, you're good. All right. Nick Montiero, bro. I know you're rebuilding these roadsters, man, or these cars, bro. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you and get some updates?
Well, while I tell them about that, why don't you put up that picture of the black and red one so that way everyone can see what I'm going to be working on probably in about 2 or 3 months now.
Facebook?
Yeah, the one I sent you on there. So you can find me on Instagram at Monty's Motorsports. I'll talk to you about anything, but big into cars, love movies, but usually every weekend I'm out doing something with either my Jeep or one of my cars or helping out one of my buddies. You can also find me on Twitter at Monty's Motorsport. Unfortunately, only 15 letters. Wanted to keep it easy, but yeah, on there.
Is that the one right there?
Oof.
Yeah, that's the one right there. So it's a
Nice.
DF Goblin. That's what I'm going to be building next.
Nice.
A 1,500-pound, 300 horsepower car right out of the box that you basically build yourself. And all said and done, I'm looking for right around 500 horses. So it's going to be a fun little car. So,
dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick, bro. But yeah, y'all check out Nick. Kevin, what's up, man? Why don't you? You said your buddy's got a podcast. Why don't you shout that out real quick?
Yeah, it's called the Long Game Dynasty Podcast. They do with Dynasty football, giving insight, just talking who's the tier 1, tier 2 stuff. They kind of got me into Dynasty League, not playing for the first time this year. Yeah. You can also find me on Twitter, KBosch89. I pretty much just pick on Cody all the time. Yeah. And like my hero and Tony's hero, David Newton, also follow Porn Stars.
Yeah. Everybody loves
David Newton.
Yeah, everybody loves David Newton. Zach, I appreciate you joining us again, man. Is there anything you'd like to put out there before we get out?
I'm good. I just want to say I enjoyed being here as always. I love talking some Panther football. Regular season's right around the corner. It's a lot of fun.
Hey man, listen, I feel like especially this crew right here, man. Nick, Kevin, Panther Rules, Zach, AJ, Lindsay. Hey, you guys show up all the time, man. So salute to all of you gentlemen. I certainly appreciate it. AJ, Lindsay, you still with us?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Bro. I appreciate you staying on with me, man. You have anything to tell the people before we get out of here?
Just that I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I'm ready for the regular season to get here. Can't wait to get it going and see, hopefully, rookie defensive player of the year, J.C. Horn, do some work tomorrow night.
There it is.
Facts.
And I really want to see Taylor Moton the combination of Taylor Moton at left tackle with Deontay Brown and Brady Christensen at right guard and right tackle.
Yes.
That'd be nice to see for a little bit. Yeah.
Bro. I'm riding that train.
Especially if the Ravens are starting their players.
Yeah, 100%.
That'd be awesome to see.
Yeah, get some live reps against some real competition. I'm loving that, man. Panther Rule, I appreciate you joining me again, man. You have anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
You can find me on mainly Twitter. That's the main place I go. I enjoy being here. Can't wait. I always look forward to Friday.
Yeah, man. Listen, once again, that is the C3 Friday Free-For-All, where you control the show and what we talk about. Listen, man, we have a game tomorrow night. I know we are going to be doing a post-game show at some point tomorrow night. So keep a lookout for the channel. And until next Friday, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.